Hello and welcome to day 6 of the British Swimming Championships here at Tollcross International Swimming Centre. This is the last day of action and you know what they say, last one, fast one. This is Deep End Live. Good evening and welcome to Deep End Live. We're here at the final day of the British Swimming Championships 2019 in Glasgow. It has been an incredible week. If you've missed out on all the action and you're here tonight, trust me, you're still in for a treat because it's been absolutely brilliant. You can see up here on our wall, we have our best of British. All of these are brand new British champions and a lot of these athletes making their way onto that plane already for the World Championships this summer in South Korea. Brilliant stuff so far. Tonight is set to be no different. But of course, I must let you all know that in less than a month, we have another exciting event. We are going to be down in London for the Diving World Series. It is coming to London for the last leg of the Diving World Series. If you haven't got your tickets, do so now because it's going to be epic. I'm going to be coming up into the crowd in just a bit to give away 4 of those tickets, which is pretty awesome. So get yourself a ticket into that drawer and maybe you'll be lucky enough to get your hands on it. But bringing it back to the action here at the British Swimming Championships, joining me in studio once more, Rebecca Adlington and James Goddard. Guys, last night, let's start there. Jimmy, first race of the night, men's 800 metres.
Yeah.
What was it like for you?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, Sam Budd, British champion for the first time. He came in the studio. He was really pleased with his swim. I was pleased for him. I was pleased for the city of Sheffield as well. They keep producing these top-class distance freestylers. Amazing. Really pleased for them.
Yeah, it was a great start to the night, of course. Then we moved over to the shorter events, the splash and dashes. Becky, we had Georgia Davis back in the pool, taking that title.
Yeah, a fantastic swim for her. I think it was closer than she expected, but she did the job that she had to do. A 28.1 for her. I'm sure she'll be faster at the World Championships this summer, because it has been a slightly disappointing meet for Georgia, but it was really nice to hear from her and about her resilience as well, as she's going to need that resilience and that confidence back for the summer.
And I think, you know, we spoke about this earlier, but her experience and her being a bit of a veteran really helped her there. She's sort of able to pick herself up and move that on and get herself another British title. It was awesome to see. Back over to you, Jimmy. Ben Proud, first time we saw him in the pool was last night.
Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he? I mean, when he stands behind the block, it looks like he's just walked off Mount Olympus, isn't it? He's like chiseled. I feel like he should have a trident next to him, like, boo, in here. And the way he swims is amazing as well. This big, powerful, strong guy. Got the consideration time in the 50 freestyle. Has this beautiful straight arm, powerful freestyle. Blew everyone else away. 50 fly tonight. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited for that race as well. And then, of course, Becky, your old event. We had the 400. Holly took that title.
Yeah, my heart broke for Holly last night, actually. She took the race out so strong, looked really good 200 and just couldn't quite do that back end. And she just seemed so upset with that performance and to obviously not get that consideration time for Worlds. But I'm pretty sure Holly will bounce back and we have not seen the last of her and she will have a storming year next year. But the great thing last night was some of the junior athletes, actually. Rachel Anderson, Tamrin that we've been talking about all week. These are 15, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and they were posting world and European junior times last night. So it's very exciting for the future.
And we were sort of saying that about, about these juniors coming up in the distance swimming. There's been a bit of a hole there in the distance swimming on the women's side in British swimming. So it's really exciting to see what they're going to do in the coming years. Big race last night. Duncan Scott taking the title in that 200 IM. Incredible, wasn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock. And sometimes when we watch Duncan swim, we think of him as a freestyler, but he's a superb all-round swimmer, like amazing all-round swimmer. 1/100th off the British record, got the first place consideration time, and I was so impressed with his breaststroke, actually. He puts it a lot down to training with Ross Murdoch and Craig Benson, you know, there at the University of Stirling. Amazing all-round swimmer and just such a talent.
And then finally we had Siobhan Marie O'Connor in the pool last night for the first time. 200 IM, she took the title.
Yeah, she didn't disappoint either. We've been waiting all week to see her race and getting that consideration time for Worlds, posting a 2:10. With everything Siobhan's been through, with illness and everything else, it was a fantastic swim. She's back in the pool tonight, and I always say this, and I probably repeat myself a bit too much, but watch Siobhan's skills. Her starts and turns, her underwater is just incredible.
Well, loads to look forward to tonight as well. That was last night, but you're not missing out this evening either. The final day of action. But this is, of course, not the only competition we've got happening up here in Glasgow this year. In December, we have the LEN European Short Course Championships coming to this very venue. So let's take a look at what you got to look forward to.
The latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. Endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Venzo. Battleborn.
Now, I'm up here in the crowd meeting some of our fans who have come along to the competition to support. Who are you supporting?
Jacob Peters.
Jacob Peters. We've got his whole family in the crowd here. Yes, guys. Give him a cheer. Go on. We love it. And what's your name, darling?
My name's Emily.
Hi, Emily. Now, I've come up into the crowd because I need a little bit of help. We're having our own competition. We're giving away 4 tickets to the Diving World Series next month. Pretty awesome ticket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're going to help me. Let's bring this in here. On your way in, you could have bought yourself a ticket into our raffle, all right? So I need you to put your hand in there. You want to help, David? You want to choose the duck? There you go. Thanks, buddy. And whoever has the number that correlates with this duck has won themselves 4 tickets to the Diving World Series. What's the number?
192.
192. So who's got ticket at duck number 192? Anyone in here? 192. I love it. They're making my job easy. I don't have to run tonight. Been running all week. Well, look, thank you very much, guys. If you have duck number 192, you can collect your ticket from the foyer. You've got yourself 4 tickets to the Diving World Series next month. So good luck for that. Now, Alice Thomas is one of our athletes that has been swimming brilliantly this week. She's in the pool tonight, and we caught up with her earlier. So let's take a look at what she's got to say.
So Alice, big year for you last year. Massive, you obviously Europeans, Commonwealth medalist. How was that for you?
It was amazing, really. I think whenever I'm asked that kind of question, I kind of go back to the same kind of saying. I sort of became the swimmer that little Alice when I was younger, is the swimmer I always wanted to be. So I finally sort of emerged, if you like, and became the kind of swimmer I'd always dreamt of when I was sort of going to nationals and all those little kind of competitions. And I sort of became the swimmer that I was always looking up to at these kind of competitions. And it was a really great year.
Yeah, I mean, was it a surprise for you? I mean, because obviously you're not the youngest on the squad and all of that. Sort of, not in at all saying that you're older, but you know, to emerge like that, were you expecting it? Sort of?
Expecting, I don't know is the right word, but hoping perhaps, and knew it was within me. I knew I could do it. Knew I was capable of it. I think the expression on my face when I touched the Commonwealth kind of shows everybody that I definitely wasn't expecting it, and I threw a few choice words out. But you know, it was a shock at the time, but to know that I was ultimately capable of doing that, it was sort of they matched, and finally everything sort of came together for me last year.
Yeah.
And I think it's now a case of like, okay, proving to myself it wasn't a fluke year, it wasn't a fluke performance, and you know, I can still do that, and it is still within me, and I can do that. This body isn't sort of done yet. It can still prove, you know, that I am that person. I can do those things.
Absolutely. I think you're still a long way off that, Alice. But, you know, bringing it into this year, of course, another big year. We've got, obviously, the showpiece here now, British Champs, Worlds coming up later on. I think European short course are back in this pool as well. How preparations going?
Yeah, going steady at the moment. I took a bit of I had to have a rest after last season, just mentally, physically. Took a slightly longer break in the summer just to kind of recuperate and get my head back together, and kind of to focus on the next 18 months, 24 months into Tokyo. So preparations now, they're going steady, they're going good, and we should be on track and target for this meet, for world trials, for Worlds. And yeah, so that basically I can target Worlds and Tokyo onwards.
Yeah, and I know we caught up in Tokyo at the end of last year, came out just for a few days for the World Cup. Amazing city. Are you excited for next year?
It does make me really excited because that was my second time in Tokyo, and it's such a different, vibrant city. The culture's amazingly different, and it's so exciting to kind of see and like do a little recce and get used to like all the different kind of coffee shops and the way they do different things there, and like the little pet shops. You can go in and see all the little dogs,
adorable, isn't it?
Little kittens and everything. And yeah, it's just a fascinating city to go to, and to think that the Olympics are going to be there, and how amazing that like the Japanese know how to put on a show. And I'm excited to see it and hopefully be in it.
Yeah, well, we've got...
There you are, Alice Thomas. She's had a great week so far. She's back in the pool tonight, so good luck to her. Now, joining us down here at the Deep End Live studio are two very, very important men. They've got big, tough decisions to make very, very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome into the studio as Bill Finesse, National Head Coach, and Chris Spice, our National Performance Director. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now, Chris, just before we get into this, for the people at home who might not be too sure about what your job entails, tell us a bit about it.
Thanks, John. Well, the first thing my job is about is getting the money out of the government. So we have to write a 4-year strategy. Otherwise, we'll have no money to spend. So we got a nice 21 and a bit million for this 4-year cycle, so we did okay there. But that's the first thing. And then after that, really just be in charge of the whole program and set the priorities of where we spend our money. Is it on the senior team, the junior teams, sports science, sports medicine, and just run the whole operation from above. But obviously, when we split up to various levels, Bill's responsible for the senior team, and Tim Jones, who works for me, also responsible for the junior team. So really just an oversight across the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, this week I've been watching the swim, this close, and we've had some ups, we've had some downs. How's the week been for you guys? Have you guys found it positive?
Yeah, I think if you look at the week overall, it's been a very good week. Look, in any British Championships, when it's a trials event, you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, you're going to have swimmers who are elated, you're going to have some who are disappointed. But generally speaking, I think we've had some excellent junior swims, and we've had some excellent senior swims. Very important for me is that we've got a lot of swimmers who I think are going to be in the frame and in a good place when we select the team tomorrow to move this on and do a good job at the World Championships, at the end of July.
So obviously you've just mentioned there the fact that you're doing the consideration tomorrow. There's these open spaces to fill on the team. Is that a case of you're looking across the juniors going, you know what, I want to give you a bit of experience because you're kind of going to hit the perfect age? Or is it for people like Holly Hibbert, who unfortunately just was slightly off that mark, but is a solid swimmer? How do you fill up those spots?
Yeah, look, I think the first thing we look at is the relays. And clearly we've got some serious relay opportunities to win medals at the Worlds. And we want to make sure that we've got people that can cover our key guys, particularly we've got big swimming programs. So we'll look at how we backfill the relays first and foremost in terms of our medal opportunities. And then we look at people in terms of their future. Are they on a good trajectory for Tokyo next year? Could they actually perform on the highest stage? And then across the whole team, we then look across all sorts of development opportunities for kids that we think are in the frame for Tokyo. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but the open spaces have really enabled us to target certain swimmers, as we did, for example, with Dan Wallace in the Rio cycle, and able to give him an opportunity. And then people like that didn't let us down, and he was fantastic at the Rio Olympics, even though he didn't perform particularly well at the British Champs. So it does give us some flexibility, and we have to use them wisely.
Something that I've noticed over the last few years, and you guys have spoken to me about this before, is we are performing a lot better at the major competitions now. In Rio, we were great, winning all these fantastic medals. What do you guys put that down to?
Well, look, the sport has changed. It is a sport that's time-focused. The first thing anybody does, someone touches that pad, every head turns around and looks what time it is. But in actual fact, at world level, it's about how well you can race. You've got to manage yourself through a heat, a semi-final, which is usually incredibly fast, and then do your best performance in your furthest round. We've done a lot of work on that. We've done a lot of work on that in terms of the belief on our team. They do a lot of work on that in terms of their race tactics, how they recover, how they prepare, and generally delivering that best performance in the summer when it counts. We know that if we get the team to swim around 70% better than they have at this competition in the summer at the World Championships or in the summer at an Olympic Championships, the medals will come to us. So we don't have to chase the medals. What we have to do is our best performance of the season at the major competition, which sounds like it's an obvious thing to do, but it's a difficult thing to do, and most nations can't do it. So every swimmer and every parent and every coach listening out there, that should be the first #1 mantra. Do I do my best performance of the season when it counts?
I think as well, you guys are in this position, 7 years now? 6, 7 years?
Have we aged?
I think you've both gone grey. No, I think we've all commented this week that there's a really, really nice kind of culture. There's a really nice community on poolside now that it's nice to see that so many up-and-coming coaches, just as much as athletes. There seems to be a really nice atmosphere on the team. Is that because, what is that for? As people just come together more, have you kind of really narrowly focused that in more?
Yeah, look, we've had a deliberate program around coach development, and I'm unashamedly proud of the fact that we spend more money on developing our coaches and our staff than any other sport that UK sport hands out money to. And I have to defend that position regularly. But we've now got a real coaching cohort, not just at the top end, but underneath, that very much feel part and connected of what we're doing. And it's exactly the same for the science and medicine team. They're no longer sitting out there providing a service. They're internal, part of what we're doing, pushing us forward. And the culture of not only what happens at senior level, that same culture is underneath at the junior teams when they come through. So when the athletes now come through, for example, a Freya or hopefully some of the other young ones, they just feel part of the framework, because how the junior team is being run is exactly the same as the senior team. And we're really proud about that, and we're proud that we've used over 100 coaches in the 5 or 6 years that Bill and I have been together. And so it's a really, really positive thing that we've taken a wider cohort, not just the guys that end up on the senior team.
Well, look, you guys are doing an absolutely brilliant job, and I do not envy it at all, but thank you very much for this insight and these pearls of wisdom. Hopefully it's made it a little bit clearer for you at home what these gents are going to be going through, and with the selection policy that is happening for the World Championships over the summer. Now, of course, we couldn't put these events on without our sponsors, so let's take a look at what they've got to say.
The latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Benzo. Battleborn.
Welcome back to Deep End Live. If you're just joining us, welcome. You're in for a real big night of surprises tonight in that pool. And joining us in the studio right now, two wonderful people, very special guests. We've got Amy Wilmot and Joe Litchfield. Thanks, guys. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hi, nice.
So, British Championships 2019 is done. You guys have both been in that pool competing. Amy, how you feel after your week in the water?
I had a little bit of a mixed bag. Obviously, day one was the 400 medley, and it was great to get the consideration time for the World Championships. My 200 last night wasn't as great as I would have liked, but I think sometimes things just kind of don't go your way, and as a swimmer, that's kind of what you just take with the sport.
Yeah, oh God.
I was just going to say, what about you, Joe?
For me, the sort of the opposite. My 400 wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, but the 200 was where I wanted it to be. It's back under 2 minutes for me. I haven't been there in 2 years, so it's good to be back under that. And my 100 back, which I sort of thought I could do a 54, but actually doing it, when I did it, I was it's not bad. And then coming away with the silver was a bonus for that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's been a great week for you both, and I wanted to ask you a little bit because the juniors have been killing it this week.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashing it. Both of you guys European junior medalists?
Yes.
Yeah, gold,
Yeah.
I think, for you, Joe. Yeah, not bad. I mean, just how important a stepping stone is that to do those European junior championships, or those world junior championships to progress onto the senior team? How important is that?
Go on, you go.
I think it's just getting that experience. Like, you go to the meets, you race with people of different nations. You get used to that more environment, whereas if you were to just go straight into a World Champs, you wouldn't know, like, compared to this, World Champs is huge. Like, it's just next level, and then, but going up through the junior ranks into Worlds it's just a good stepping stone, really, for the...
Yeah, I think that's a definite kind of like, you get used to being in a different environment, you've gone away from home, you kind of being away for the first time, and you experience that as a junior, so to then kind of carry on and step up to obviously the world stage, it kind of gives you that little bit of experience and you're kind of a bit more ready.
Joe, for you, I wanted to ask you, because obviously this week we've seen you across a number of events. Is this about kind of next year? Do you go away from this meet? Do you say, right, I really want to work on this? And how do you really focus? Because obviously for you, you'll be perfect age for Tokyo next year.
Tokyo is definitely on my radar. Obviously the IMs are my main aim. I think now I've a little bit of
a... 2 the 4?
I prefer the two, but obviously I'm gonna swim both, and hopefully I'm gonna challenge the top contenders in both. But also now I think the 100 back, I'm gonna focus a little bit more towards that one as well, just as like a...
You surely want to beat your brother as well, surely.
It doesn't come around too often, so I'm always trying to beat him. He's always trying to beat me in training, so it's... And then coming into racing as well, it's always the same.
Both of you guys from the 400 IM though, I explain to the kids, how hard is 400 IM training?
Tough. Training is, it's
so tough.
70k weeks, it's not nice.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's not for the faint-hearted to be a 400 medley swimmer. Me and Joel both agree.
Well, Amy, obviously the fact that you got the consideration time for Worlds, absolutely incredible. What now do you do ahead of the World Championships? How do you make sure that you move that on and get back down to the times that you want to?
Yeah, I think it's kind of as Joe says, you kind of look away, you look back at the meet and what you've kind of done well and what you haven't. And I think those things are probably glaringly obvious for some of us. And I know there's a lot to work on for me, especially the back end of my race wasn't really where I wanted it. So I've got hopefully kind of 13, 14 weeks to get my head down and focus on those things that I need to improve on and make that step towards better times and performances at the Worlds.
Well, we're really excited to see what the two of you do over the coming season. But I'm also pretty excited to see what you do in our Speedboat Challenge. Now, I know you guys, Amy's been very keen to have a go at this one. Joe, do you know the rules? Yeah? Have you seen this? Have you seen what we've been doing?
I saw Craig do it, so I think I know.
You got it. Get from one end to the other. So let's have a look at the leaderboard as we go now. So Dan Jervis for the men is currently out in front, 9 seconds. Hannah Miley for the girls, 13.03. So come on, guys. It's your turn at the Speedboat Challenge. You're both experienced in the water, but how do you do with a boat? Have you thought about this? You thought about tactics, Joe?
What are my tactics? Fast.
Go fast, go fast. All right. I think you should go first. I would say don't go as fast as you think you should go because it can get out of control, but it's up to you. All right, so you got to get behind him, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? Timing ready? Left, right, forward, forward, that one. Left, right. You got it? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, Joe. Come on, stay. Joe! Joe! Oh no! We've had a crash. He hasn't made it to 15. We're gonna do the second boat because we've got time to get that one out, right? Is that right? Yes, right. We've had word from the boss. You get a second chance. Okay, so now you've seen how not to do it. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, Joe. Stay away from the wall. Stay away from the lane rope. Oh, how was that?
Hard.
That was a DNF, unfortunately. Joe, a DNF. Come on, all right, Amy, it's your turn. Joe's had what's your strategy?
If Joe can't do it, I've got no chance.
Oh, come on, let's positive thinking. 3, 2, 1, go. Go, come on, Amy, come on, stay focused. The other way! Okay, you get one more chance. We've only got time for one more chance. You ready? That one. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, she's off, she's off! She's flipped it, she's, no! Oh, she's barrel rolling! Oh, seriously, it was like stunt boat riding. That was another DNF. Well, look, but let's get back to the studio and get those DNFs up there. I'm sure you haven't had those in a while. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Joe and Amy and the most incredible boat racing we've ever seen. Now, Bob is going to be taking over. If you're watching on the stream, you're going to be hearing him in commentary with Becky. For now, here in venue, we're going to get the action underway. So strap yourselves in. It's the final night of action. See you in a bit.
Thanks, John. And here we go then. Final session of the British Swimming Championships of 2019. And there is so much more excitement still to bring you. We had loads of it last night. Pretty much from day one, we've had excitement every night. And every night has got more exciting and a range of events where, well, things have happened that we weren't expecting. And plenty of times were being set that we didn't really anticipate. Here's the lineup then in terms of the events. Underway shortly with the 1500 meters freestyle heat, the fastest heat that is. And I'll run through the lineup for that shortly. The 50 butterfly for juniors, then the transition and open final. Same for the women's 100 breaststroke, the 200 backstroke for men, the women's 100 butterfly for women. And, well, it could be the final of the week. We've seen a lot of finals of the week so far, but this might top them all. The 200 meters freestyle for men. In short, it could be Duncan Scott against James Guy. Having said that, there are plenty of others who are knocking on the door of usurping both of them. So the 200 free later on in the program will be, whichever way, an exceptional race, and it could well have an exceptional time at the end of it. Well done to our officials who've looked after things so brilliantly from day one, all mentored in a way by Craig Hunter. He's the referee looking after things, and well done to the team for making it run as smoothly as it has done this week. And some of the same names will be involved in the Paralympic event next week here in Glasgow. So we saw 4 heats this morning of the women's 1500 meters freestyle. Here we have the fastest heat. And we are going to introduce the 8, as we always do, from inside to outside. And I have been told, Rebecca Adlington, who I don't know why I always throw to you as soon as you sit down, because I should allow you at least 15 seconds to get your breath. But you're a finely honed athlete, so why should I? That you're going to be doing some medal presentations tonight.
I am, yeah, the women's 1500, I believe, possibly a few others. So, no, it'd be nice. It's kind of one of those that we're starting a bit out of the way, aren't we here, Bob? Because we're not the start end.
We're not far away from the medal presentation podium.
No, we're not, but we're not kind of the start end or the finish end. So that John and James always get to speak to the athletes, and we're a bit on our own here, so it'd be nice.
We kind of are. Well, because nobody likes us, basically. That's what it is.
At least we have each other.
We got to day 6 and nobody's actually told us that, but we've assumed nobody likes us because we're stuck in the boonies here. We are on pool deck. In case you wonder where we are normally here in Glasgow, we're up in the rafters, either the back row or very similar, but here we are actually on pool deck. So we are at about 8 meters, 7 or 8 meters from the turning point on the longer event. So you won't catch us because obviously the cameras are not looking at us, fortunately. But we are actually actually seeing the far end is quite difficult sometimes. So it's a very tight fish. Sometimes you've got to allow us a little bit of latitude for that. So Jazz Carling has the British record, of course, recently retired Jazz Carling. And we are looking to see whether any of the juniors can step up to the plate with a 16:50.62. Having chatted to this young lady's coach earlier on, Rhys Gormley, he thinks she can go sub 16. He thinks she can
sub 17.
Sub 17, I beg your pardon. Sub 17, yeah, that would be good. If she can knock a minute off her time, I think he'd probably fall in the pool with her, to be honest. But he thinks she can go sub 17. Whether she can get down 16:50, he says he'll know more at 800. So we'll find out with him later on. Lauren Weatherall is in 8 from Ellesmere College Titans. The Stockport Metro swimmer in 2 is Alicia Hawkins. City of Oxford, Nicole Ryan in 7. Emily Clark of Loughborough is in lane number 6. In 3 from Thanet Swim. As ever, at this point I say, let's get a 50-metre pull for Kent. Maisie McCartney is in 3, looked after by Dan Cross. In 5 from Leeds, Richard Denigan's charge, Leah Crisp. I called him Ian this morning for some reason. I went up to him, bold as brass, went, "Morning, Ian." He went, "Just call me Ian."
Does he look like an Ian?
No, well, not particularly. I don't know why I said Ian, but he's Richard, of course, and always has been. So, sorry, Richard, but he's still talking to me, fortunately. And Michaela Glenister of Leicester Sharks is in lane 4. So the senior time, I think we could probably forget that, can't we, with the swimmers we got?
Yeah, I think it's one of those that we've been talking about all week, that the distance swimming is slightly off the mark at the senior level, but we've certainly got some amazing juniors coming through. Another 3 are in this field, lane 1, 4 and 8 are all that European World Junior age, that we'll keep an eye on that time, because for the juniors they've got to go at 16:50.62. So it is in reach for some of these juniors in this field.
Well, Michaela Glenister has done a 16:48, so she's already done that time as a personal best. So replicate it today, and she'll make that squad for the World and European Juniors later this year. 1,500 metres, longest event, of course, of the programme for the women here in Glasgow. And let's run through that lineup for you in the 1 to 8 order. Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall, coached by Rhys Gormley. Richard Blackshaw's swimmer is Alicia Hawkins of Stockport in 2. Mason McCartney and Dan Cross from that swim in 3. Michaela Glenister, Mark McKenna is the coach with Leicester Sharks. Richard Denigan for Leah Crisp. Andy Manley for Emily Clark at Loughborough. Amanda Booth, City of Oxford with Nicole Ryan. And once again, it's Alan Bircher for Ellesmere College Titans in lane number 8. So, as you mentioned, 3 juniors in this, going for the most obtainable and attainable time, 16:50.62. That's Fleur Lewis in 1, McKenna Glenister in 4, and Lauren Weatherall in lane number 8.
Well, Lauren has really gone for it in lane 8 at the top of your screens there. She went out in a 29.7. It's a 1,500. That's very impressive.
Well, let's do what we normally do and just write down the splits for you. So that is a 62.15. We'll get an idea of where she's looking in terms of her splits. She'll be, unlike the men looking for 59, probably looking for 61, 62, probably.
Yeah, it's very difficult doing 1,500. It's a very long way. It hurts as well, but I think it's really good. I think you've got to almost set some sort of tempo, because over this amount of distance, can't get my words out, is the fact that if you're 0.5 off your pace each 50, that's a hell of a chunk of time that adds on to that personal best at the end of it. So you've really got to keep that tempo. I always feel like they need a pacemaker in a 1,500. You need one of those to
somebody who gets out of the pool at 800.
Maybe someone should just cycle or walk alongside the pool, or help them in some way, because it is really difficult.
So maybe somebody in lane 0 or lane 9 as a pacemaker, and they suddenly get out halfway through the race.
It would be really good, I'm telling you. We're onto something here, because you need that, because you've got to set the pace, but obviously you don't want to go too fast. And it looks like here, yes, Lauren has set the pace, but she certainly doesn't look like she's working too hard. She's certainly not gone to her legs yet. She's got a nice kind of easy kick at the minute. I think the other girls might have just started to slowly spot, oh gosh, she is quite a way ahead of us, don't let her go too far. Certainly doing that is Maisie down in lane 3. She's probably just clocked on it. It's very difficult for them to see all 8 lanes. So Maisie's trying to kind of stick with her, not let her get too far out of sight here. And you'll just start to notice they'll slowly start to rev it up, obviously the last kind of 300 meters. But for now, it's just about that even split, just kind of that nice, smooth, consistent pace.
I think I was being a bit ambitious with the 62 split, wasn't I, to be honest? That was a 67.6 she did for her second 100, but still holding on, and more than holding on. In the outside lane is Lauren Wetherall of Ellesmere College. But as you mentioned, the rest are starting to maybe work their way back into contention. It's a long way still to go, of course. Maisie McCartney of Thanet Swim in 3, and Emily Clark of Loughborough University in lane number 6 are in range, if not right alongside her at the moment. Let's see what the split is on this one. I make that a 68. 67.6 followed by 68, so going just a little bit slower on that 100.
She's probably trying to just want to level it out. Hopefully she's not going to put a second on each 100. And it's one of those now that pretty much all 3 girls are in a line there. And to be honest, even Leah in lane 5 there, she's kind of gone, hold on, I won the 800, I'm here, don't forget about me. I did a good PB in my 400. So we've noticed in her races as well, she really comes back really strong. So even though she's down in 4th position, I don't think that's the way it'll end up.
No, I think that lead might change if you're down. She is, as you mentioned, 4th. Emily Clark has now taken over at the front of the race, followed by Lauren Wetherall. 3rd place is Maisie McCartney, and 4th is Leah Crisp. But I think this may well change a little bit as the race unfolds and progresses. This will be the 400 split, so we're nowhere near getting near halfway yet. And who's going to get the turn? The turn is going to be Emily Clark's first in a 4:24 knuckle, so it needs to look at her splits rather than the leaders now. And that will take us to 4:24, and now lost count of where we are because it's a different person, so maybe I have to ditch that idea for a little while and get us back on track when we get into the second third of the race, which will be coming up when they turn next time at the other end, as Emily Clark of Loughborough keeping it going very nicely in lane number 6.
I liked Freya Anderson is over the other side of the pool, and obviously Lauren is her teammate in lane 8, and Lauren has just pointed to the rest of the field and just urged her on. Yeah. She's just gone, can you see them? She stood there. She's obviously wanting her teammate to do very well here. She's got 100 butterfly later on in the programme, but she's waiting for Lauren to breathe. Oh, there she goes with the pointing. She's just like, have you noticing them? Go with them.
So we've got 2 coaches on pool deck for Lauren Wetherall, Alan Bircher and Freya Anderson doing their bit. And at the moment she's in 3rd place because Maisie McCartney has worked her way through from 3rd to 2nd. And Emily Clark on a 5:30 split there at 500. Times 3. Yeah, it's inside at the moment. Put it that way, it's inside the target time that she'd be looking for. But she is not one of the 3 for juniors. But Michaela Glaston needs to maybe up the stroke rate a little bit for Leicester Sharks in 5 if she wants to get in the mix. Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall is in 6th place. So 2 of the juniors have a little bit of work still to do. Emily Clark leads by a couple of seconds now. Should open up a bit of an advantage, but as we mentioned, not even halfway yet, so advantage may not count for a great deal later on. Maisie McCartney has got a bit of a march in her stroke. It's working well, but there's 4 now, pretty much breaking away from the rest of the pack, all in potential winning distance here.
Leah's letting her go a lot further than I thought she would. Obviously, she's not doing it on purpose, but it's one of those that we have seen her finish strong. But obviously, with being crowned that British champion over the 800, you would have expected her to be slightly closer to Emily at this stage. But like I say, we're not even halfway yet.
She had a tough week, remember?
She has had a tough week, and she had a tough race last night. She's probably hurting off last night's 400 free, which was a personal best for her. And we're not even halfway of the race, so there still is plenty of time. And we know that she comes back strong. She's probably got it from her coach. They probably said, you know what, try and negative split this, try and come back really, really strong. So she knows with more than halfway to go that she can just kind of keep it easy, keep it smooth, and then keep revving each 100.
When they turn next time, when they get up this end of the pool, it will be 700, so getting close towards halfway. And that gap between 1, 2, 3, and 4, well, the gap between 1 and 2 seems to be opening up a bit, but 2, 3, and 4 are pretty much in the same positions in terms of the gap between them as they were when they turned at this end last time. But this is Emily Clark dominating the front of the race right now with about 8 to 9 meters advantage over Maisie McCartney. Leah Crisper into 3rd place. 4th place to Lauren Wetherall, who set the early pace but now is finding life just a little bit tough.
Yeah, it hurts on a distance event. If you
That's
go
the
out
coach's pen, by the way, sorry.
the chicken coop, as I call it. But just because they're all barriered round, it's kind of like, what do they think the coaches are going to do? But yeah, at 1500, it's totally different tactics to the 800 as well. And this is a fairly new event for them on the programme. It's one that's always been part of the World Championships, but obviously being an Olympic event next year, it is fairly new for a lot of these girls. They won't have raced it like they have the 800, so it is completely different tactics. And it's to be honest, it's one of those that I think for Leah, she's probably done 400, 800 training. So whether she's done that work for the 1500, because it is, you have to treat it like a completely different field. It is completely different tactics, endurance, even though most people will say, well, if you can do 800, you can do 15. Not necessarily.
If Emily Clark finishes the race like she started it, she'll finish in 16:36, is what I make. I know she's not going for the junior time, but 8:18 is what she did at the first 750. So if she was to duplicate that, won't be a straight duplication, of course, but 16:36 is roughly where she would end up. Just wait and see whether the two behind are making any kind of improvement in their positioning. Well, they are getting a little bit closer, I think, visibly. The clock will tell us whether that is the case as Emily turns. So we're looking at almost 3 seconds between 1 and 2, and obviously a lot less between 2 and 3. Leah Crisp biding her time and perhaps about to make her move. She might think it's a bit too early yet with another 600 to go, but she's edging her way up into 2nd place. She was 4th, then she was 3rd, now she's going to be 2nd.
Yeah, you can tell that Emily there is sticking over the other side of the lane rope, can't you? She's kind of like, don't come near me, don't chase me down. But she's obviously closed that gap with Maisie there and kind of overtook her. It's kind of nice to see that all these girls have got really strong turns, as that's something we've spoke about a lot this week, is the fact that, well, I was rubbish at turns, I will openly admit it. That was my rest, that was my recovery, the turns, whereas these girls, they're going 5 meters off the wall each time. And that's really good to see, as it's very, very hard to do that.
2.3 was the advantage between our leader and 2nd place Leah Crisp, and all of a sudden Maisie McCartney is coming back for a 2nd time. She doesn't want to be dropped by Leah Crisp, so she's holding her station just on the feet. Although, of course, she's a couple of lengths up, but a couple of lanes up, rather, from Leah Crisp. But Leah, with that very good turn, has just moved away again from our 3rd place swimmer, Maisie McCartney. I've got an idea now. She got down to 2.3 when they turned last time. Doesn't look like it's appreciably smaller.
Freya telling her to move.
Well, she's trying to, but she's moving backwards, I'm afraid. Not being very effective with your gesticulations at the moment. So what's the gap? The gap is now exactly 3 seconds, so it's back up again. It was at 3, and Leah Crisp got it back to 2.3, and now it's extended back to 3 again.
500 to go?
500 to go. And
still gives her enough time. Don't rule her out yet.
I'm not. Most definitely not, because the way she finished in the 800, I would be a fool to do that.
They've got complete... It's interesting looking at both of them, because Leah's got a much stronger leg kick than Emily. Emily's got a really kind of relaxed high elbow, whereas Leah's stroke is much higher tempo. I think a higher stroke rate, probably a higher stroke count as well, so kind of has that speed element to her stroke, whereas Emily's keeping it really nice and smooth. She's not gone to her legs at all yet, which is scary, because you think, well, hold on, she's 3 seconds ahead. She hasn't gone to her legs yet, so is she holding back? Can Leah do it? But to me, it does look like the gap is closing slowly.
It is, and right at the front of your picture there was Reese Gormley. He looks after Fleur Lewis, one of the 3 juniors in the race. She's in lane 1, and she is making her way up through the field. but she's not in your picture as yet. 1, 2, 3. She'll be appearing anytime now. There she is with the yellow cap at the bottom of your picture. Gap is just over 2 seconds again, so it keeps fluctuating between 3 and just over 2 between our leader and second place, but Emily Clark still has that advantage. She's been in front for, I reckon now, somewhere in the region of probably about 900 meters. She's actually been in charge of this one.
Yeah, she's just right there on her feet, isn't she? So it's one of those, is she going to do it? It looks to me like she could overhaul her.
Yeah, she's got plenty of time still. Still a lot of this race to go yet.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Because Emily's led the whole way as well, so hopefully she's saved something in the bag here that she can kind of switch to those legs. It doesn't look like Emily's kicking at all yet.
There's only one thing, or maybe two things that are worse, three things, thinking about it, that are worse: being overhauled in a 1500, being overhauled in a 5K, being overhauled in a 10K, or even worse still, being overhauled in a 25K open water. Can you imagine that you dominate a race for 5 hours and somebody just says, thanks, I'll take it now if that's all right with you?
Oh, Bob, it gave me a bit of a shudder there. Fleur's looking great down in lane 1, though, still in 4th place.
Well,
She's the fastest of the junior guys.
Well, Maisie McCartney will, at the moment, try and battle for 3rd place on her own, but looking at Fleur Lewis coming back through there, starting to catch Maisie, and obviously Leah Crisp is now catching pretty much with every stroke our leader, Emily Clark. There won't be much between them, certainly won't be 2 seconds between them now. It's 0.8 of a second between them, pretty much. So Emily Clark is being hauled in. She might well be overhauled next time. It will be 200 when they turn at this far end. Emily Clark from Leah Crisp, 1,300 meters will be completed when they reach the far end, and this is as close as anybody has been to our leader for quite some time. Well, when does Leah make her decisive, and it could well be decisive move here? Is it on this turn? I reckon she'll try and come out this turn in the lead. Let's see. Only 13 100ths. It's going to be mighty tight coming out of that lead, cutting right into that lead, and now they're side by side.
Yeah, Leah's obviously been kind of picking it up. I reckon if we probably look back at the splits after the race, she might have even negative split this one. She's certainly used it as progressing through each 500, and she's really come back strong here. Emily, I still think she's got more in the tank. She hasn't gone to her legs yet at all, but to me, Leah's just looking so strong.
So they go over together, and there is only 0.05 between them, but now Leah Crisp is at the front. But to be fair to Emily Clark, she's not faltering, and she's not going backwards, and she's going, right, I'm going to try and kick in here, and I'm going to get those legs working, and I want to come straight past you, Leah Crisp, and she has done just that. Gutsy swim, really gutsy swim this from Emily Clark.
I actually think Emily's got the better turns as well. Every single time Leah's kind of catching her up, and then at the turn, Emily somehow manages to come out first again, so I think she does have better turns.
100 to go. Look at them. They are separated by a negligible amount. It's not even a quarter of a second. That's the noise they wanted to hear. That's the sound they wanted to hear. Now Leah Crisp has really been galvanized by that bell, and off she goes in lane number 5. And Emily Clark, who did put a lovely burst in, she might well catch her a bit on the turn, but it looks like Leah Crisp, now that she's gone to arms and legs, is really starting to break away, but not really. Look at that sideways on shot. It's still mighty close between them. Not even a second between them as they go into the last 50. What a completion to this race it is. Still can't really call it. Emily Clark in 6th at the top of your picture. Leah Crisp down below. I think she's probably just about on the straight. Got enough to hold off Emily Clark. It's going to be mighty tight. This will be one of the tightest races we've seen this week, and it's a 1,500 meters freestyle. Leah Crisp, Emily Clark. Leah Crisp now will probably get a body length ahead of her adversary. It's a terrific race. It's a terrific swim by both of them, isn't it? 16:44.29 and 16:45.36. Now let's see whether Fleur Lewis, 16:52. Oh, she is exactly what her coach said to me. She'll probably do a 16:53. She'll have 16:52. She is just 2 seconds outside that junior qualification time.
She is, but at the same time, the first time under 17 minutes, you've got to be happy with breaking that barrier. I think it's one of those that you're going to take a big chunk. I mean, she's taken 10, 11 seconds off her personal best time. She's got to be pleased with that.
So close. It would have been nice for her to make that time. Leah Crisp going, thank goodness that's all over. I've had a really tough week.
She looks exhausted.
I can stay in bed in the morning now. Don't have to worry about getting prepared for a race. Her next big race will be in 2 weeks' time in Sheffield at the North East Counties meet. And she'll probably need all the rest she can get in the next 2 weeks after that stunning 800 and the 800 and 1500 double, of course.
Yeah, she's going to sleep well tonight.
It's not as quick as she has been either. She has been quicker than that, but it was enough today to win, albeit by only just over a second in the end from Emily Clark. Macy McCartney with 16.51. So that's a personal best for Maisie as well. And Fleur Lewis, we mentioned, with that brand new PB. Michaela Glenister for Leicester Sharks in 5th place.
PB for Lauren as well.
Yep, so a lot of good new times being set in the 1500 freestyle for women. Let's go and hear from the 800 freestyle champion, who's also now the 1500 champion. Leah Crisp is with James Gollard and John.
Well, there you have it, a double distance champion. Well done, Leah Crisp. A perfectly timed race as well. How are you feeling after it? Silly question after 15.
Quite tired, yeah. But yeah, it was good to kind of time that well and kind of, do the race plan and get to the end, so yeah.
With Emily Clark being so far ahead at halfway, is that kind of off-putting knowing that someone's so far away? Because you could see down that second half of the race, you came back so strong.
Yeah, I guess it could be, but I kind of see it as something to aim for through the second half, so it's kind of like just pushing yourself and thinking, like, I can get there. Yeah.
And is it easy in a race like that, a 1500 meters, to sort of lose your game plan or your race strategy?
I guess it could be like if you lose count or whatever, or if like you're on your own because it's quite a long race. But yeah, I always manage to keep focused. Yeah,
it was awesome. So moving forward for the summer and potentially for next year, what are your plans?
I'd say just keep training hard and just seeing if I can PB and move it on.
Well, look, congratulations. 2 titles at the British Championships. Not bad, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please give it up for Leah Crisp?
Well done, Leah.
8 and 1500 meters freestyle champion here at the British Swimming Championships of 2019. And well done to Leeds and well done to Leah Crisp. Right, on to the junior final of the 50 butterfly. And time required is not 1 because it doesn't exist on the qualification time. For the World and European Juniors, or indeed for the seniors for that matter. Of course, we'll see Ben Proud when it gets to the 50 butterfly final, the open final, which will be the 3rd race coming up. But this is the lineup for the junior version. Aaron Fox of Bebington, Shakil Giordani of Haringey Aquatics, Mount Kelly's Alex Mason, Warren DeBar's Archie Goodburn, Samuel Perks of Plymouth Leander, looked after by Roberto Pavoni, Calvin Fry of Millfield School, another of the Plymouth swimmers, but with Robin Armian of the club down in the southwest, Reed Jones in 7, and another Titan swimmer in lane number 8 again.
Well, I think we've mentioned Archie Goodburn so many times this week, and we're going to mention him a lot tonight, as not only is he in this, he's in the junior 200 freestyle final too.
Kostas Kalitzis is his coach. 50 butterfly. Ready for the junior final. Best PB of all of the swimmers is 25.33 from Alex Mason of Mount Kelly in lane number 3. Some PB set this morning. Calvin Fry did 1, Samuel Perks did 1, Shakil Giordani did 1, Aaron Fox did 1. Top of the picture, I'm impressed by Reed Jones' start. Can he keep it going in lane number 7, or will he be overhauled by lane 4? Archie Goodburn and Warren DeBards is going to get there first in 25.36. Has been quicker, but gets the win nonetheless. Second, it is Adam Metcalf at the top of your picture. And third will go to Alex Wilson of Mount Kelly.
Don't know why he's taking his hat and goggles off. He's got to get in the swim down for his next race.
As he go along now, has he? Chance to feel like he's not in race mode for a moment. And won that by 12/100ths from Adam Metcalf, whose best time before was 25.75. Third, Alex Mason, who had a 25.33, so not quite as quick today, but Adam Metcalf with a new personal best. And Archie Goodburn just outside his. Sam Perks looking down to see what he's done prior to today, 25.62. Yeah, just a tad outside it, but and Shako Gordani couldn't quite back up his personal best this morning, 2/100ths outside of it. We will have 7 in the transition 50 meters butterfly final. And once they are on pool deck, which they are not yet, I will tell you who they are. Here they just about to come out wherever you are. We know you're behind there somewhere. One is Harry Stacey of Shiverers. Season's best this morning. Personal best for Alec White in the morning session for Exeter City. Chris Finch of Surrey University with a 24.7 against his name. Not this morning, but that is his personal best. Joel Watterson of the Isle of Man with a 25.1 personal best this morning. Another PB for James Watson of Crew Flyers, 25.15. Sam Daly of Mount Kelly in lane 6 and 7 is Rory Huggins of Surrey University. We have 2 swimmers who have been sub-25. That's Sam Daly in lane 6 and Chris Finch of Surrey University in lane 3. So on paper, they are marginally quicker, but there have been PBs spread all over the place in this one, so it is wide open because there's, as ever in a sprint, very little to choose between them. Noisy blocks here, aren't they? Let's see who gets away with the best time. In terms of reaction time, Joel Watterson with a 0.60. In fact, 0.58. Sam Daly even beats him to that in lane number 6. But lane 3, Chris Finch of Surrey University going very strong for the first 25. Coming alongside him is Joel Watterson. And far side, we look to see whether either Sam Daly or Rory Huggins can get in the mix. Lane 3, Chris Finch, maybe. No, it is Sam Daly. Sam Daly came through with quite a burst at the end for a 24.87, a new personal best for Sam Daly. Second place to Alec White of Joel Watson. Sorry, they've just turned the board around. 24.99 for Joel Watterson. And third place is Chris Finch with a 25.11. So the winning time and the second placed, both with new personal bests, both down below 25 seconds for Sam Daly and for Joel Watterson of Isle of Man in second place. Okay, let's see whether we can guess a time for Ben Proud. What do you reckon?
I think it's one of those that obviously he's made the consideration time for the 50 metres freestyle. Even though the 50 metres butterfly is in the World Championships, there isn't a qualification time for it because it's not an Olympic event. So for him, he's probably really relaxed tonight. I think Ben swims better when he is relaxed, when he's smooth. He looked really good this morning. He doesn't ever breathe. His skills are amazing. He spots the wall perfectly. He went a 23.99 this morning. I think he'll be looking to go a low 23 tonight.
Okay, low 23 it is for Ben Proud. I'm going to go for a high 22.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for a 22.9
Let's
something.
hope so. I hope yours is right, not mine.
Well, let's see. This will be only his 4th swim of the week and his final swim of the week.
His whole 4 swims are only up to 200.
Yeah, well, it's a minute and a half, isn't it, basically?
Job done. My events were that quick.
Yeah, it's about 90 seconds, isn't it, in total for 4 swims, which is pretty good. So outside in we go. Henry Bland of Cardiff. Sam Horrocks of City of Manchester Aquatics. Cameron Brooks-Clark, you just saw from Sheffield. 7, Lewis Fraser just there. No, that's not no, that's not him. Definitely not him. I think we've got our lane orders a bit out of kilter here. That'll be Alexander Bowen, though, in lane number 6, going to his block. So next should be Scott McClay in lane number 3. It is. And it was a season's best, not a personal best this morning. About a couple of hundreds outside his best time, but expect maybe that to change tonight. In 5, the only real, I think, serious threat to Ben Proud, although he's going to have an off night for Jacob Peters to win it, but expect him probably to notch up a 2nd place. Season's best this morning. Now, Ben Proud, we know, is capable of getting down below a 23.9. You're saying a 23 low on you. Yeah, it's probably more realistic, but I'd love to see him go 22 high. And we make sure the blocks are exactly how he wants them.
Well, I mean, we've talked a lot about this week. Scott McClay has been fantastic. Jacob Peters as well is one of those that has had a really, really solid week. So they won't want to totally let him go, but at the same time, Ben just made it look easy this morning.
So there's your 1 to 8 for the first senior final for men tonight. The 50 meters butterfly. Ben Proud going through his routine. Now, hopefully everything is fine regarding his start. James Gibson is coach in Turkey, and they will be watching with interest, making loads of notes about everything he does in 23 seconds. All the analysis will be there when he gets back in Turkey to see what this swim was all about. Reaction time for Ben Proud is not the fastest. Lewis Fraser, but 0.60 is fine for Ben Proud. Good start in lane 8 from Sam Horrocks, City of Manchester Aquatics, and at the moment he hasn't got a big advantage over them. Jacob Peters is right alongside, but now he gets going. Ben Proud will start powering away and should win this by about a body length in a time of 23.25. So on the button again, Rebecca Adlington with her prediction. 23 low it is, 23.25. 2nd place to Lewis Fraser, who claimed 2nd, and that's the first time he's been under 24. And 3rd place to Jacob Peters with a 24.03. Not a personal best for him, but that's a very good swim from the Swansea University swimmer in lane 7.
Yeah, that was probably a slightly different order than we expected. We didn't even mention Lewis beforehand, so I feel a bit bad now.
And new personal best for Scott McClay, 24.04. He was in 4th, but
great week for him.
Yeah,
great week.
I think he's had personal bests in every single event he's ever. I know he has. Every single event he's done this week, he's put sizable PBs on the board. Ben Proud, 23.25. So that is the 50 freestyle and 50 butterfly double done for Ben Proud. Of course, the 50 free is part of the Olympic program, and the 50 fly is not. But we'll imagine he'll do both of them at the World Championships in South Korea in July. Let's have a word or two for the Turkey-based swimmer with John and James. Here is Ben Proud.
Well, there you have it, Ben. Nice way to finish your weekend. Another British title.
Thank you, yeah. I mean, I started last night and finished tonight, so it's been pretty quick, short and sweet. Now I get to head home and celebrate Easter. Is
it job done this week? Like, you're happy with your performances?
Yeah, I mean, I think both swims were consistently off my best, so I think for this time of the year, we've had a steady progression throughout the season, and I think we're kind of aiming things towards the summer and then for Tokyo next year.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I've noticed a lot with our top swimmers like you. I mean, you come here and swim fast, but you guys are wanting to peak in that summer, aren't you? I mean, and I feel like you're a big game swimmer. You know, when you get in front of a big crowd, when you get in front of like the whole world, that's when you up your game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also what I'm trying to learn how to do. You know, in the past, I used to be a perfectionist and wanting to, you know, do the best swim I can every time. Yeah. Whereas now I'm starting to realise like it's more realistic to target those performances at the big meets. Yeah.
So how much downtime will you have now? Obviously, the World Championships in the summer. How much downtime will you have, like, you know, over the next couple of weeks?
I mean, the next 2 weeks will steadily build through. I'm racing again next weekend. It's only really 2 days off, but then we take things steady and build up to a big working block in about 3 weeks.
Now, I know, Ben, it's such a fast race. Both of your events are over in the blink of an eye. When you're on those blocks, what's going through your mind? Do you look at your other competitors, or is it all one, like, line of sight?
I mean, every time it's different. Sometimes there's tons going through my head. sometimes it's very calm. But I'm still trying to find what the best thing for me is in terms of the mental approach, what I'm thinking about, and you know, racing at these meets is a good opportunity to test them out and see what works.
Brilliant. Always learning, always progressing. It's always great to watch you in the pool. Congratulations, another British title. Look forward to seeing what you do this season. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ben Proud.
Back in the studio for a second time. 2 titles for him as well, as it was for Leah Crisp in the 8 and the 15. So it is in the 250s for Ben Proud, who now can get back on a plane to Turkey. I know James is actually here at the moment, so I'm sure he'll be going back out there very soon to look after his main charge, one of his main charges. He's got so many big names out there. It's difficult to know who his top swimmer is, to be honest.
They're all top, aren't they?
They're all top, yeah.
Top club.
Not all from this country. Of course, he has Georgia Davis as well. But there's plenty of others who might be in a program at home but fly into Turkey for a little bit of extra training. It's quite a nice little arrangement they've got out there. Now, the 100 breaststroke. And, you know, I bemoaned going back a few years just how poor really our 100 breaststroke for women and men. So the 200 and the 100 were for women. But the 100 breaststroke is picking up, the 200 is certainly picking up. So things are looking good going forward for our breaststroke women.
Yeah, certainly. And it's great to see so many of the juniors as well. Obviously, we're not just in this final. We've got 3 juniors that going in the transition final. And Kayla as well, who's going in the open final, actually got the world and European junior time that she needed this morning in the heats. That does count. So we'll keep an eye on her in the open final to see if she can better that and if any other juniors get that second spot available.
And we're saying Pinfold of City of Oxford in 1, Lucia Grant of Plymouth Leander 2, Jemima Barclay of Monson in 3, 4 is Charlotte Rigg of City of Birmingham, City of Leicester represented by Caris O'Reilly in 5, Maya Hall, Ellesmere College Titans 6, Flora Perkin of Exeter City in 7, and Eliza Powell of Bromley in lane number 8. Junior final of the 100 meters breaststroke. What a start from Ilizane Pinfold down below us. She's not hanging around for anybody, is he, from the City of Oxford? And also 1, 2, and 3 all looking quite strong. 3 at the moment. Jemima Barclay of Royal Tunbridge Wells, RTW Monson.
I think this is going to be a very close race to call, Bob.
I think you're probably right, and we'll get more of an indication of that when they turn at 50. 3 and 1 closely in proximity. It is Jemima Barclay. Charlotte Rigg also had a good first 50, as did Caris O'Reilly. Now, can lane 3 hold on? Well, she's not able to at the moment because Charlotte Rigg is coming alongside her. At the moment, it's 3 and 4. Maybe, possibly, Charlotte Rigg will get to the front. Personal best of 1:11.71. She was 1:12 this morning. Carl Grosvenor in the coach's pen, and we're looking on seeing whether she might be overhauled by Maya Hall of Ellesmere College Titans in lane number 6. She's coming with a blistering finish, but it will be lane 4 that's going to take it. So Charlotte Rigg will get to the wall first in 1:11.30. That will give her a new personal best of 0.41, and she is thrilled with that. She's delighted with that because she's heading very much in the right direction. Second, Maya Hall of Ellesmere College Titans, and third, Caris O'Reilly of City of Leicester. We have a DQ. Lucia Grant will not get a time in lane 2 for Plymouth Leander. Everybody else, though, is on the board, as indeed this will confirm. Charlotte Rigg, 1:11.30, then 3 inside 1:13, and Lucia Grant, sadly, not getting a time. The transition breaststroke final, and once again, probably just worth explaining, Becky, what the transition final is for those who may not have been with us through the rest of the week.
Yeah, so the transition final is for anyone born 1996 or younger, so basically 23 and under. Just a bit of a random age, 23. I don't know why it's 23, we don't know that, but that's what British women have set out, so it's anyone under 23.
So let's go through the lineup for you before it appears on the screen. It might well appear midway through, but here we go. Katie Goodburn of Warren de Baths, Lily Booker of Millfield School, Loughborough's Megan Morrison in 3, Cara Hanlon, Edinburgh 4, Katie Robertson of South Ayrshire, and Harad Evans of Ellesmere College Titans. City of Leeds, Rebecca Clines, who finished very strongly this morning in lane 7, and Abigail Hurst of Millfield School in lane number 8. There was only one personal best set this morning. That was by Abigail Hurst, and that snuck her into lane number 8, trained by Ewan Dale. Who's the quickest in the field on the personal best? It's just Katie Robertson with a 108.7, but Cara Hanlon has done a 108.8. So only a tenth of a second on their entry times between them. And of course, we've got the senior final with Siobhan Marie O'Connor up next. Now, will anybody make a break or certainly come out very much on top after the dive? Well, lane 5 has gone pretty well from the off. That's South Ayrshire's Katie Robertson, but so too has Megan Morrison of Loughborough University. And again, lane 1, something about lane 1 today. They're going for broke from the off. Whether she'll be there when we get to 100 is in question, but there's only really one outside that lineup, isn't there? And that's Abigail Hurst. Everybody else pretty much in the line. First to get to the wall will be lane number 4, Cara Hanlon ahead of Katie Robertson. 3rd, Megan Morrison. And 4th at the turn is Rebecca Clines, who had that amazing finish this morning. See if she can replicate that tonight.
Yeah, the middle 3 girls are pretty even here. Cara looks like she's trying to pick up that pace slightly here, but not shaking off. And here comes Katie.
And Rebecca Clines at the top of the picture from City of Leeds. Again, she's doing exactly what she did in the heats this morning, bursting her way through. Has she left it too late, though? Is she going to be able to overhaul the ones at the front? She's not going to quite get there, because it will be lane 5. It will be Katie Robertson, and it's a time of 1:09.24 for Katie Robertson. So she has been quicker, but in terms of today, that is fine and dandy. And second is Cara Hanlon and Harad Evans in 3rd. Rebecca Clines might have left it a little bit too late, to be honest. She started to work her way through, was coming with a burst, but in the end she was exactly a second shy of the winner.
Yeah, she did a slight PB, though, of 0.02, so she'll probably take that. A PB's a PB.
There's everybody in and confirmed. No DQs in this one, so everybody will get a time. And in some cases, there are some PBs amongst them. Okay, well, we're going to see the emerging breaststroker in Kayla van der Merwe, looked after by Zoe Baker, our former world champion and former world record holder in the 50 breast.
Yeah, well, she absolutely smashed that junior time. The juniors needed to go a 1:09.9. She went a 1:09.0 this morning, so booked her place on. She'll be wanting to see if she can better that tonight, but for me, I'm really looking forward to seeing Siobhan Marie O'Connor, as this morning she just looks so strong. She's going into this final a full second ahead of the rest of the field, so I really hope she has a good swim tonight.
Here's Imogen Clark, who we haven't seen much of. In fact, this is only her second race all week. In lane number 8 for Loughborough University and Andy Manley. Katie Matz, we've seen lots of this week. She's done multiple events for Stockport Metro with a personal best of 67.92. And here's a potential star of the future, born in South Africa, moved here a few years ago, Kayla van der Merwe of Winchester City Penguins. New personal best this morning, and a big one too, 1:09.09 for her. Sarah Vasey, who won the 50 at the Commonwealth Games last year. She's in lane 2, coached by Mel Marshall. 6, Molly Renshaw, part of David Hemming's team in Loughborough. She's in lane 6. In lane number 3, this again is those lovely battles we like in women's breaststroke in this country now. Jocelyn Elliott had, well, a year that she'd like to put maybe to the back of her mind and start afresh in 2019 this year. 5 is Tatiana Bolonigov from Guildford City, coached by Lee Spindlow, with a personal best of 1:07.84. And here is the British record holder, 66.34 it stands at for Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Well, we saw this morning she got to whatever worries, concerns, and disappointments of that swim last night in the 200 IM out of her system. and clocked a rather rapid 107.27, a season's best. Well, she will go faster tonight, I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah, she hasn't had the chunk of work and the block of hard, solid training that she's wanted to due to illness, but Siobhan's skills, look at her starts, they're absolutely incredible. We've been saying it all week, and Siobhan just looks so speedy this morning.
Katie Matt, Stockport, Sarah Vasey, Loughborough, Justin Elliott, Loughborough. Different coaches, Mel Marshall and Lynn Hume. So it's got Siobhan Marie O'Connor of Bath in 4. Guildford City's Tatiana Belonogov in 5. Molly Renshaw, under the auspice of David Hemmings. 7, Kayla van der Merwe. And Imogen Clark of Loughborough in 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 Loughborough swimmers out of 8 here. So the odds are that one of them is probably going to win it, but let's see what the youngsters can do in this one. There's the qualifying time to your left, 106.26. So that means that Siobhan Marie O'Connor, to get the first time, has to do a new British record.
Yeah, she does. Obviously, there is that relay spot available for the breaststroke. Obviously, Siobhan's on the team already due to getting that consideration time in the medley, but Imogen Clark there is looking really strong. She has got a slight back issue, so we know she's not quite on the form that she's wanted to.
So Sarah Vasey, the leader at 50. Imogen Clark in second. Come on, Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Are you just hanging back a little bit here, or could there be a surprise in this one? Sarah Vasey, Jocelyn Elliott, and now Siobhan Marie O'Connor is not swimming as well as I thought she might. Tatiana Belonogov of Guildford City. And you know what? Siobhan Marie O'Connor's not going to win this one the way things are looking. Sarah Vasey's going to take this. Sarah Vasey or Jocelyn Elliott, one of those two. And Elliott's going to get there first in a 67.35. Jocelyn Elliott just outside her personal best. Second place going to Tatiana Belonogov. Third to Sarah Vasey. And Siobhan Marie O'Connor, 68.07. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Not what she wanted, not what we wanted from her either tonight. But the top 4 all under 68. Kayla van der Merwe has gone inside 69. Another half a second taken off her personal best for a 108.61. She is going to be a force to be reckoned with at the World and European Juniors.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's fantastic that she's bettered what she's done this morning. Great swim from Jocelyn there. I mean, the time was very tough. It was for Worlds. It was a 106.2 or 106.6. So slightly off the mark there with individual times, but certainly not when it comes to the relay. So again, it's something to consider. We heard from Chris Spice earlier saying they will prioritise the relay spots first, and hopefully Jocelyn gets one of those.
Looks like it, doesn't it? With Tatiana Belonogov, 107.61. That's a new personal best. Thought it probably was. And she's knocked 0.23 off her previous best.
The only thing that could throw into this mix is Siobhan swam faster in the heats this morning than Jocelyn did to win that. So that's the only thing that could throw that off in selection process on Monday when they do, well, tomorrow when they do it, is the fact that on today, yes, she didn't do it in the final, but Siobhan certainly has from the fastest time today. And we know it's due to illness with Siobhan. She has been plagued by so much, and I really feel for her as she's just not had that consistency that you need to have as an athlete. So hopefully she can get that now. So hopefully she gets that work ahead of the summer. She can rectify everything here and go on and smash the summer.
8/100ths. She went slightly slower than did Siobhan Marie O'Connor, but did it when it mattered tonight? Let's hear with Jocelyn Elliott, is with John and James, and a big smile in the studio.
So excited to get into that warm-up pool. Congratulations, Jocelyn, British champion.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that.
It was so close as well, like down the back 25 metres. I was literally sat here like it could be like 5 or 6 people. Can you like sense the other swimmers around you?
I guess you can, but I try not to because I just try and have that kind of vision of my lane, my swim. And if I see someone ahead or behind, I just end up doing something different and not sticking to my plan.
And I know, you know, British record in the 200 as well, taking the title tonight in this one. Do you have a preference? 2 completely different races. What do you enjoy more?
Probably the 200 because I like the longer, stronger strokes. And obviously that's what I train for. And for me, the 100 is always, sometimes it'll be a really good swim, but then if my strokes are inefficient or something, because I'm rushing it, sorry, I'm quite out of breath.
That's all right.
Then it just, yeah. So.
So the week's finished for you now. Summer approaching. Like, what are your plans for the summer?
I mean, I got the World University qualification time in the 200, so I don't know, it depends what I'm selected for, I guess.
Well, fingers crossed for you.
you.
That was a great swim. We love that race. Congratulations. You're joining our wall, our Best of British wall. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your British champion, Jocelyn Ulliott.
As we move on, she forgot she had to come into the studio and went to the swim down pool, and she had to be retrieved to be brought back. What's that in my English? Suddenly speaking Esperanto. Had to be brought back from the swim down pool into the studio there. And well done to Jocelyn, very much back in a good place, and hopefully she's going to have a great 2019. Now, I tell you what I was really impressed by this morning was the quality of the junior backstrokers, the men's junior backstrokers. They were almost to a man doing better times, much better times than they'd ever done before. And we're not talking about 1 or 2, we're talking about 6, 7 or 8 actually going much better than they've ever gone before.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we say it every single time, but there is juniors again in that open final, even though this is a specific junior final. There's some in the transitional final, and then we've got Charlie Hutchison and Charlie Brown, the 2 Charlie boys in the open final that are both juniors, looking for that time of a 2:01.09.
Senior time, much tougher. It's a 1:55.54.
British record.
British record, yeah. Well, British record's held by Luke at 1:50. No, it's not.
James?
Yeah, it was down here. Hey, I've got to say, sorry, Jimmy. It's 1:55.58, yes. So the senior time would be 4 100ths better than your time from Delhi. Not the Delhi. Didn't say it in the Delhi. He said it in Delhi, in India, in 2010 at the Commonwealth Games. Can't imagine there's a Delhi big enough for the country to swim 50 metres. Jonathan Adam of Ellesmere College Titans 1. Keir Edgar of Falkirk Inter-Region Swim Team 2. Daniel Jenkins, City of Oxford 3. Also from the same club, Nick Skelton, the fastest qualified. New PB this morning, the big one too for him. So don't expect to knock quite as much off, but 2:04.88 could come down a bit more. Oliver Fairman of Poole in 5. Mark Edmondson of Team Bath, looked after by Chris Alderton, who I was chatting with earlier on today, and is hopeful that his charge can maybe improve on that PB. Mark Ford of City of Glasgow in 7, and City of Sheffield, Simon Clement. Here's in lane number 8, the 200 backstroke final. As I say, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 8 swimmers in this junior final did PBs, and that's a great start by Mark Edmondson of Team Bath in lane number 6.
Yeah, they weren't just small PBs either, were they, Bob? There were people knocking 3-4 seconds off their time. So wouldn't it be great if they knocked another 3 seconds off?
Wouldn't it be great if all 8 could do it in the field here? Don't think we've had that too often. Jonathan Adam will turn just ahead of Keir Edgar, Mark Edmondson, but look at that, there's only about 0.4 of a second between 1 and 3, and also coming through Keir Edgar very strongly from Falkirk Inter-Region Swim Team in lane number 2. So at the moment we're looking at 1 and 2. We were looking at 1 and 2, and then suddenly Nick Skelton of City of Oxford's getting moving in the centre. So too is Oliver Fairman. This race is going to change complexion quite a few times, I think. But our leader is into Keir Edgar from Jonathan Adam, Oliver Fairman. Waiting for Nick Skelton, who is the fastest qualifier into this final, to make his move. But at the moment, he ain't making the move because the man who's pulling away is Keir Edgar, who is 17 years of age. Andrew Addison looks after him, and his personal best is 2:04.84. He's looking exceptionally good right now, but he is being caught by lane number 5, by Oliver Fairman of Poole, who set a season's best this morning. Fairman just edges his way into the lead by about 0.3 of a second.
Well, I think the 2 boys here, they didn't do a PB this morning, so they're certainly wanting to rectify that tonight. They're having a good head-to-head battle. Not that they'll be able to see each other at all, and it is going to be super close.
Oliver Fairman against Keir Edgar. I think we can call that now. I think it's going to be Oliver Fairman, to be honest, the way that he's going. As we focus in on the Poole swimmer in lane number 5, Barry Aldrich's swimmer is going to get there first in a new personal best. Is it going to be 2:03.85? Yes. Certainly is, by 3/4 of a second.
PB for Keir as well.
Second place to Daniel Jenkins.
Another PB for him. Top 3 doing all PBs.
204.35, 204.68. Fell away a little bit, but it's still a PB to Kieran Gilbert. He really raced that hard. And we have 3 under 205 there. Nick Skelton couldn't quite back up what he did this morning. He did a 204.8, 205.5 tonight. 2 races in a day at that intensity, just a bit too much for him.
Yeah, it is hard to back up, but it's great that all the top 3 boys there putting in personal best times. A great way to finish the meet for them.
Transition 200 backstroke final up next. And as they come out onto full deck, which they will do shortly, I'll run through them for you. And then, of course, we've got the senior final. Luke Greenbank in there, Craig McNally in there, Jay Lelliott and Brodie Williams. Jay Lelliott wants to go sub-2. He did a big PB this morning, 2:00.23, and his ambition is not to win it, because he knows he can't with his backstroke, but just to get into the 159s later on. He wouldn't give me a specific time, just under 2 will do. So Daniel Cross of Loughborough 1, Michael Rees of Nova Centurion 2, Jacob Greenough of Bath University 3, Jack Shillinglaw of Loughborough. There's your full lineup on the screen. William Riley of Bath University 5, Cameron Brooker of Wickham District in 6, Joseph Small of Swansea in 7, and Jacob Davis of the City of Birmingham in lane number 8. 1, 2, 3 personal bests this morning in this one. They were set by Jacob Davis, by Cameron Brooker, and by Michael Rees. Transition final of the 200 back. Fastest in the field in terms of entry time. Only one's been under 2 minutes. That's Daniel Cross. The rest are 1:58.98. So
wow.
Yeah, but he finds himself in lane 1. He only did a 2:04 this morning. 200 backstroke final of the transition kind. Daniel Cross, Michael Rees, Jacob Greenough, Jack Shillinglaw, William Riley, Cameron Brooker, Joseph Small, and Jacob Davis.
Well, Daniel's certainly taking it out there, isn't it? He's going to want to prove that he can go under that 2 minutes mark, rectify whatever happened in the morning this morning. But I hope he hasn't gone out too fast.
Yeah, perhaps he was just taking it easy and didn't quite calculate how easy he was swimming, and then got himself outside qualification possibilities for the senior final. But here he is trying to make up for lost time in the transition final in 1. Looking at the far side of the pool, Jacob Davis going well in 8, and so now in 3 is Jacob Greenough of Bath University, looked after by Andre Vorontsov, who's back in the British programme again. But lane 1, Daniel Cross is the early leader at 50, will be the leader, I think, at 100. As they turn, he is. How big is the gap? Well, it's about 0.4 of a second over Jacob Greenough, and then comes Jacob Davis, William Riley, and Michael Rees. Now, far side, Jacob Davis is starting to make a move, or trying to at least, but nobody's catching Daniel Cross right now, because he's always been half a body length to a body length clear of Jacob Greenough of Bath University in 3, but he's coming right back, and at the 50 we might potentially have a new leader here in Jacob Greenough in 3. I think we will. No, it's the other side, Jacob Davis on the far side of the pool in lane 8, who's taken over the lead for the City of Birmingham. Look at that, the top 4 separated by 0.4 of a second going into the final 50.
They've all levelled out now. It's too close to call. Here comes William as well in lane 5, and just putting in that burst of speed on that second 50, on this last 50.
Jacob Davis was the leader. Can he hold on to that lead, or will Daniel Cross come back? Daniel Cross, or is it going to be lane number 5, William Riley, who comes from nowhere? You did mention him, and he snuck through there from Bath University with a brand new sizable PB as well, 2:02.72. He was a 2:04 swimmer. He's now a 2:02 high swimmer, with Daniel Cross with a 2:03.21, so still not the 1:58 he's capable of. Third place, Jack Shillinglaw, and that was perfectly timed, impeccably timed by William Riley, who wasn't really properly in the frame to the last 5 metres.
Not at all. He went out so controlled, so smooth, and we didn't even mention him the first 100 metres, and then down that back 50, just went, oh, I better start working now.
Yes. And work he did, and got his way through and won it by half a second over Daniel Cross. So well done to Bath University, and well done to William. Now the 200 back. And one of the great pleasures of this weekend, there have been so many, is to see the resurgence of Luke Greenbank, because he's not had a couple of brilliant years. He's as a world junior champion. We expected so much of him. I think he maybe found that mantle and that title and the expectation too much for him. And then he dropped off in 2017, 2018, and we're going, are we ever going to see him fulfill his potential? Maybe this week we're starting to see that from him.
Yeah, I certainly think so. And I think given that after that 100 backstroke, the fact that he went that 53 point, I think this is just going to give him so much confidence. This morning he looked so smooth on a 157.5. We'll repeat those times for Worlds. For the first place is a 155.54, and for the consideration time of a 156.23. So he's got to find just over a second to get that consideration time.
Got to do a PB as well. 156.89 is his PB before today, so he's going to have to do a personal best to get that secondary qualification time.
Well, we'll know he'll be going to Worlds anyway for the relay. So hopefully, even if he misses it, they'll still let him swim it.
Going through the 8. There's Brodie Williams in 6. Just got a glimpse of Jay Lilliott from Sheffield in 3. Now we'll move to Craig McNally of the University of Stirling in 5. Well, he's been 155, been 155.6 in the past as Craig. I think that was a little while ago.
I want to say 2013, but I think I could be wrong. Or 15.
And for Luke Greenbank, Mel Marshall's swimmer in lane number 4. Here he comes. 21 years of age is Luke. What a prodigious junior he was. Obviously moved on from that now, finding senior life a bit hard, but he's got that mojo back. He's definitely got that belief back at Loughborough, and we'd love to see him do it right here, because that would mean if he did get the first qualifying time, James Goddard would not be able to sign autographs anymore because he's not a British record holder. People will forget who you are tomorrow, James.
He's still got 3 Commonwealth gold medals. I think he's all right, and been to 3 Olympic Games. He'll hold his own.
James McFadden of Loughborough in 1. Charlie Brown, Sheffield. Well, season's best this morning, but he can go quicker than 2:02.73. He has gone 2:02.55 before. Jay rarely swims this. He's swimming it a bit more as a, in inverted commas, fun event, if indeed it can be fun. So a brand new spanking personal best, 2:00.23. Luke Greenbank's personal best is 156.8. Craig McNally has done a 155.6, but some time ago. Brodie Williams, 158.6 is his best. Charlie Hutchison of Ellesmere College Titans would love to get down to around 2 minutes if he can. 2:01.63 is his best, and Daniel Hall of Loughborough is in lane number 8. Well, we would expect Luke Greenbank to be there or thereabouts. Jay Lilliott to his right-hand side. To his left, as we look, Craig McNally. And one up is Brodie Williams. And won't be much to separate those 4 as they go to the wall for the first 50. But our leader will be Luke Greenbank. Actually, it's not. It's Brodie Williams just ahead of Luke Greenbank. And then 3rd place to Craig McNally. Joint 4th are the 2 Sheffield boys, Charlie Brown and Jay Lilliott in 2 and 3.
I'm nervous.
You're always nervous.
I
I'm
know.
worried about you.
I know, I just get so nervous. I think the thing is, I would, coming into this race, have called Luke being the winner, but it's how far he can push that time, it's how far he can do a personal best. It is really, really tough time to go, but he took that first 100 very smooth, 56. It's a good split. Can he now come back in a minute point?
He has to power on from here, doesn't he? Because if that time is going to be achieved, and it's a very, 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 very hard time to get 155.5, 160, 156.23, then he has to go. And let's see what the split will tell us here as he turns in a 126.34. Well, he's there or thereabouts, is Luke Greenbank. Brodie Williams in second place. Jane Elliott in third. Charlie Brown in fourth place. Now, come on, Luke. It's you against the clock now. Nobody else is going to help you. Nobody else is going to be the pace setter. It all has to be done by you right now. 1:55.5, 1:56.23. Look at the clock on the right. We'll keep telling you, he's getting closer. He's not far away. He is not far away from that secondary time, and he will get it. He will get it. The record of Mr. Goddard, however, that stays in play. 1:55.58 has not been broken, so James' record is still there. But 1:55.89, Craig Manali second, and Jade Elliott breaks the 2-minute barrier with a 1:59.6. Brodie Williams joint third with obviously the same time. Charlie Brown just outside the 2. But well done, Luke Greenbank. He definitely is back and firing.
Well, he's better than back. He's just absolutely smashed his personal best time. He's taken a second off that PB, making that consideration time, very comfortably as well, making that consideration time. Missing short of that first place time, but who cares at this stage? He's on that plane and just fantastic.
Already there, of course,
swim.
for the relay anyway, so
yes.
He'll get to do the 100 and the 200, I'm sure, in South Korea in July. But James Goddard's British record just about survived. Charlie Brown with a 2:01.09 he needed for the juniors. He's got the junior qualification time. Charlie Brown will be on his way to the World and European Juniors, so well done to the City of Sheffield, Charlie Brown. Let's hear from the man who won the 100 and the 200, Luke Greenbank, with James and with John.
There we are again, got it back in the studio. Another British child. Congratulations, Luke. What
Thank
a race. PB as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've struggled the past couple of years. Been way off the pace, and to just get down at that 1:55 means everything, so well chuffed.
Yeah, and under the consideration time as well, you just said to me there, and I've got to ask you this, you turned at 150 and you had a little cheeky look at the scoreboard and you knew what your split was at 150. Did that kind of give you a little bit of burst of energy?
Yeah, I know. I've been coming back so well this season. It's been a big kind of focus point in training. And when I went 156, I went out really fast and then died, but yeah, I'm just over the moon with that, so chuffed.
Yeah, absolutely, and with the World Championships coming up, 155.8, you're going to want to go quicker, of course, in the summer, so, you know, how are we going to move it forward? How are we going to go maybe to that 154 marker?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to move it forward. I think the training I've been doing has just helped me along with that so well, and if I keep that up, I can hopefully get a bit faster and consistently knock out 155s, and like you said, maybe even that 154, so yeah.
Now I know, just swimming absolutely brilliantly at the moment. This one was on the edge of his seat. His British record, is that the next one you're going for?
Yeah, it's been in the back of my mind, but yeah, not this time.
It needs to go, come on, it needs to go now.
No, it's definitely an aim.
I look forward to seeing Luke Greenbank up there. Look, congratulations, another British title, consideration time, family in to see you do it. Absolutely brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Luke Greenbank.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's fair to say, on the evidence of what we've just seen, that men's 200 backstroking is now getting into a rather good place, with Luke leading the way, and 4 there under the 2-minute barrier, and Charlie Brown just outside it, but getting that new personal best, which will send him to the World and European Juniors later in the year. So well done to Sheffield, well done to Jay Elliott for getting under 2 as well, which is what the intention was from the off. Not sure how often we'll see him do it, but he's proved he's a pretty decent backstroker at this level with a 159. Well, I have been left alone. I haven't got a BO problem or anything, as far as I'm aware, because Rebecca Adlington has been taken away from me, and there she is in all her radiant glory, because she's going to do the medal presentation for the 1,500 meters freestyle, girl power.
Presenting the medals, double Olympic gold medalist, Rebecca Adlington, OBE.
There's Becky, not all that far away from our commentary position to present the awards. And firstly, to Newcastle's Georgia Darwent, who clocked a 16:47.85 in the final. It obviously was the final in terms of it being the fastest heat, not a straight final, of course, but fastest heat. Emily Clark, well, she wasn't far away from winning that one. And in the end, just overtaken at the key moment by Leah Crisp, but second place for the 22-year-old from Loughborough. And another title for Leah Crisp. She won the 800 the other day, you may recall. Well, she's added another title to her collection. 1500 meters freestyle champion. At a time of 16:44.29, winning that by just over a second in the end. Leah Crisp, Emily Clark, and Georgia Darwent with the 1-2-3 in the 1500 freestyle. $1,500, of course, part of the Olympic program as of next year. Has been in the Worlds, but first time it'll be in the Olympics is next year in Tokyo. Becky will hang around for a bit and wait to do the presentation for the 50 meters butterfly. No surprises in that one at all. A sizable win for the expected victor. But actually second place was a bit of a surprise, to us anyway, because it was Lewis Fraser who managed to sneak through for silver. Jacob Peters has to settle for the bronze on this occasion. So first time we've really seen Lewis up there on the podium. So Jacob Peters 24.03 has been sub 24, so not as quick as he can go. That will improve as the year goes on. But two went under the 24 barrier. And Lewis Fraser did it for the very first time. So that's an excellent attempt by the Swansea University swimmer, Lewis Fraser, 23.98. Will be more than pleased with that. It's a really good return for him. But the man they all have to catch, maybe in the world, let alone here, is Ben Proud. 500, sorry, 500, he never would do a 500. 50 freestyle champion and 50 butterfly champion as well, with a 23.25. Thought he might go high 22, but obviously that's to come later in the year. 23.25 is quite sufficient for April of 2019 for the Turkey-based sprinter. That's our 1-2-3 in the 50 fly. And I think we're going to get one more ceremony before we carry on, which is the women's 100 breaststroke. There we go. That's exactly what we are going to get. And, well, that was a surprise as well. We've had a few of those last night with a couple, and this one certainly was. We thought the British record holder, Siobhan Marie O'Connor, and she's had her problems, and we know that she's not maybe on her A game here, but she was back in 5th place. 4 ahead of her. Molly Renshaw couldn't get in the top 3. But Jocelyn Elliott, who has had her travails and problems and hasn't had maybe what she would have liked for the last 12 months to 18 months, but is now back with a vengeance as the winner. Sarah Vasey, we know her best for the 50, of course, but she'll take her bronze medal in the 100 with a 107.62. Very close to getting that silver medal. There's only 1/100th between second and third, and a massive new PB over the day for Tatiana Belonigov of Guildford City. 107.61. An excellent swim from the youngster from Guildford. It's in a very congested and very keenly contested women's breaststroke for the 100 distance. It is Jocelyn Elliott who takes it in a 107.35. Remember, as she said in the interview in the studio with the boys, 200 is a better event, it's the one she enjoys most. Of course, she is the British record holder in it. So we'll see her get a chance to progress as we get towards the Olympics in a better event. And who knows, it might be, well, it will be here, I'm sure, on the relay in South Korea at the World Championships in July later on this year. That's your 1-2-3 in the 100 breaststroke. Jocelyn Elliott of Loughborough, Tatiana Belonigov, and Sarah Vasey of Loughborough. Back to the live action, and we have just 2 more events to come before we conclude the British Swimming Championships of 2019. The last one up will be the men's 200 meters freestyle, and that is so wide open, so wide open. There are names aplenty, and then in the end, we were quite right. There were a couple of big names. As Becky gets back to a position, we are working her hard. She's gone from the studio to the comedy position. Now she's gone from the presentation position to the comedy position. We did lose a couple of quite big names, didn't we, this morning in the 200 free for men?
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, Dan Jervis, I think, just missed out. It was super close. Tim Shuttleworth, Stephen Milne, people that you probably would have put into that open final. But amazing for the junior swimmer, Matthew Richards. I just can't get over what an experience this is. Even if he doesn't better what he did this morning, absolutely incredible. And what experience for him being in that world-class field. So hopefully he can drop further tonight.
100 butterfly up next for women, and I've got to say, it's hard. It's almost folly making predictions this week because you come flat on your face every time, like we did a little bit with Siobhan Marie in the last race. But Alice Thomas looked so good this morning and looked to have easy speed at the end. It's hard to look beyond her in this one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Bob. And I don't want to jinx her because I feel like I always call it wrong. I don't want to jinx her.
No, I get your point, but to me, that obviously Freya Anderson did a huge PB this morning as well, didn't she? No, she's done a 59.5 apparently before. She did 1:00.77, so there's a bit to give on that. Charlotte Atkinson has done a 57 high before. Laura Stevens has done a 58.7. So there's quite a few in there, if she doesn't get it right, who can pounce. But I just think that time this morning was quite deceptive because I think there was plenty more to come.
Yeah, 100%. And she's kind of got that experience now, Alice, as well. She's got the skills, she's got the talent, she's got the hard work. It's whether it can all come together for a perfect race.
So on to the junior final, and 60.45 is what they require for the World and European Juniors. Lauren Brantley of Camden Swiss Cottage in 1, Sarah Kalafska of Hatfield in 2, Isabel Goodwin of Leeds in 3, Pia Murray of Ellesmere College 4. I'll be quiet because I'm the only person making any noise. 5, Lucy Grief. I was just aware that I was the only person making any noise at that point, of South Ayrshire in 5. Betsy Wizard. Last time we'll see her this week in lane 6 for Northampton Swimming Club. And she set another new record yesterday for Northampton. 7, Krista Wilson of Newcastle and Mia Leach of the City of Peterborough. They are at the 35-metre stage. And look at this. How are you going to call this, Bob? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Going to the wall pretty much together. Thank you, clock, for telling me who's first. It's Lucy Grieve of South Ayrshire. Second is Betsy Wizard. Third is Isabel Goodwin. And 4 is Pia Murray. This could go the winner from just about any one of the front 4 here.
Pia has, this whole entire week, she's come back really, really strong. She's trying to do that now, but 4 of them in the line. Betsy's really coming back strong here as well. They want their good last race, don't they, Bob?
Yeah, she was inspired to meet you earlier in the week, and maybe she'll be inspired to win this one. Lucy Grove, Pia Murray, they're all in there, and it's going to be lane 3 that takes it. Isabel Goodwin of the City of Leeds has been 1:02.8. She's now a 1:01.87 swimmer. That's a big move in the right direction for her, and every reason to smile and be excited about it. Betsy with a 1:01.99, so she's gone a little bit slower than her personal best, but she set the tempo and really set that race up as well. Lucy Grieve in 3rd for South Ayrshire, and Pia Murray of Ellesmere in 4th place.
Yeah, I like it when you see the athletes at the end, because normally they're so tired. It is brutal that even when they're happy, you just can't help but hang on that lane rope and be so out of breath. So it's nice when they can manage a smile.
Which they all do. Certainly those who did personal best have every reason to smile. And Isabel Goodwin, a terrific time, and so she was up in the 1:02s, now down in the 61s.
Yeah,
move in the right direction.
For this transition final, I'm so impressed with Roberto Pavoni's swimmer from Plymouth Leander, Sophie Freeman. She is one of our juniors to watch. She is so close with her personal best time of a 1:09, and she's got to go a 1:04 to get the European Juniors. So she's so close to it, 0.5. See if she can give that tonight, as she is a very big hopeful. She's just an amazing junior up and coming.
And also thinking about it, they'll need a relay butterfly swimmer for the relay in the World and Europeans as well. So whoever wins has got a chance of making the team anyway, haven't they?
Of course, but it's one of those that you always want to do the time, don't you? As much as you're going to be there for the relays, it makes it extra special when you get the time.
There's a full lineup for you. Megan Anderson of City of Newport in 1, Isabel Grant of Sheffield in 2, Stockport Metro's Isabel Spinley, Kiara Schlossen of City of Leeds 4, Plymouth Leanders, Sophie Freeman 5, Alicia Wilson Guildford 6, Macy Elliott of Leicester 7, and Kate Mills of Loughborough in 8. So in terms of fast times, well, Kiara Schlossen's done a 60.44 before now, Macy Elliott's done a 60.83, and Isabel Grant has 60.49. 60.45 for junior Sophie Freeman in this field. It's her target time. And this is the last transition final of the week for the women. And let's see who can do what again. Looking down this side, I know we've got a slight camber in the way that we look at this, but Isabel Grant's had a very, very good start. So too has Kiara Schlossen of Leeds, and up there in 6, Alicia Wilson of Guildford City coming through. But I think it's Kiara Schlossen who'll probably get to the wall first for the 50 turn, and she does in a 27.89. Second is Alicia Wilson. Third, Sophie Freeman. And fourth is Kate Mills of Loughborough University. Kiara is not going to get caught here. I don't think. She's got her head down, and she is so determined to reach that wall before everybody else. And Leeds are having a good day here. They're crisp earlier on. Maybe Kiara Schlossen for a win in the transition final. They're not going to catch her, are they? They're not going to get close to her. This is a great, great swim, and she's under the minute for the first time. That is a great achievement, and one she will remember for quite some time when and where she did it. 59.83 for Kiara Schlossen. She was 60.44, and well, she looks maybe overwhelmed by that because we haven't got a smile from her yet.
Come on, smile.
59.83. You should be delighted. You should be thrilled with that. Second place to Sophie Freeman of Plymouth with a 1:00.64. So she's just outside the junior qualification time. Macy Elliott in third, but there you go, a sub 1 minute swim.
There's the smile. She did just smile.
She's probably just absorbing it all and thinking about it, but when it sunk in, there is a smile. And well done, Leeds. Well done, Richard Dennigan. And well done, Kiara Schlossen. 59.83 for her. She did a PB this morning. She does an even bigger one tonight. And she's starting to move to serious territory there with a 59.83. Right, last senior final of the week. Coming up next, the Women's Open 100 Butterfly Final. And as I say, it's almost folly to say what you think is about to happen, but I can't see there being a great deal of difference between this morning and tonight. Alice Thomas just looked so good, and nobody looked anywhere near as good as she did.
No, I mean, on paper, their personal best times are very, very close. And I mean, we saw her in the 200 metres butterfly as well. Laura Stevens really challenged Alice Thomas on that 200, more than I think me or you ever could have predicted. So it's kind of one of those that you can't rule anything out here, because it has been full of surprises and people have stepped up to the marker. But like you say, Alice just looked incredible this morning, very, very smooth. Unless she hit it very, very well, it didn't look like it was that tough for her.
No juniors in this one, so we don't need to worry about junior qualification times for the Europeans and the Worlds here. Personal best this morning, though, for the outside lane swimmers. Harriet West set a PB, as did Emily Large. Tame Bruce is in 2 for Edinburgh. In lane 6, Laura Stevens of Plymouth Leander. She's been 58.70, 59.8. It was this morning. So what is the senior time? So I haven't asked you that.
Oh, the first place time is a 57.22 and the consideration time of a 57.56.
British record is 57.25, so she'll have to break the British record as well, and Gandhi's record, which has been on the books for 7 years, over 7 years now, set in 2012 at, I think, the Olympic trials, if memory serves. And there is Alice Thomas coming onto pool deck. And her personal best, 57.85. She did a 58.17 this morning, so she wasn't a million miles outside that personal best. And hopefully she has saved her best for tonight. Freya Anderson will look to go under the minute barrier. Charlotte Atkinson with a 57.88 is thereabouts. Laura Stevens, she does a PB, is a 58.7. So, yeah, it could be a blanket finish. It could easily be with their entry times. Just looking at what we saw earlier on today. But, of course, some people might just have been keeping a little in reserve. We'll discover in the next minute. With the final of the 100 butterfly, Harriet West of Loughborough 1, Tane Bruce, Edinburgh 2, Freya Anderson, Ellesmere 3, Alice Thomas, Swansea 4, Charlotte Atkinson of Loughborough 5, Laura Stevens of Plymouth Leander 6, Harriet Jones, Cardiff 7, Emily Large of Newcastle, top of your picture, in lane 8. Just make sure your cap's on. It's a bit slow getting down there, Tane Bruce. Oh, do you need me as well? Yes, I'm ready for it, just about. It's a little bit risky, that, isn't it? When you get in that position, you're kind of rushing yourself into the race, but she's okay. She's looking fine, and she's got off a bit like a startled hare in 2. Alice Thomas in 4. Charlotte Atkinson in 5. This is a very, very tight one. Laura Stevens in 6. Harriet Jones in 7. Who's going to get to the wall first? Lane 5. Charlotte Atkinson will get there ahead of Laura Stevens. Alice Thomas in 3rd. Tane Bruce in 4. This is going to have a lot of swimmers all within about half a second, I reckon. Here comes Alice Thomas in lane number 4, but Charlotte Atkinson is holding on. Laura Stevens in 6 is going well. And every time Alice looks to make a move, Charlotte Atkinson riposts with another one. But here is Alice Thomas. Freya Anderson's looking strong in 3, but this will be Alice Thomas to the wall first in a 58.20. And it's actually a little bit slower than she went this morning, surprisingly. But it was enough to get the job done. Second is Charlotte Atkinson with a 58.3, and third is Freya Anderson with a, it's 58.82. They switched it around quickly there. Laura Stevens in 3rd with a 58.82. Freya Anderson in 4th place.
I did think Alice was going to go a little bit quicker there, but actually she's done that on the 200 and she's done that on the 100, where she's swum so comfortable, so easy through the heats, and then kind of not dropped as much in that final. But this is great practice for Worlds, as she's going to have to swim that fast in the heat. So she's doing great practice, as she knows that come the summer, this is what she's going to have to do.
100 butterfly done and dusted. Everybody inside the minute, which is good to see.
Very good.
It's quite a rare event, actually, thinking about it, getting all 8 female swimmers under the minute in the 100 butterfly.
Fantastic step forward, isn't it? I can't believe we're on the last event already.
Yeah, where is the time gone?
Welcome back, Alice. Congratulations. Another title, another great swim. Weekend's done. How you feeling?
Yeah, been a pretty long week. I'm not used to being in on day 1 and the last day. Lots of rest days in the middle makes it seem even longer for me, but no, yeah, pleased with that. Bit annoyed not to duck under, but no, yeah, good, solid swim.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit. We see some swimmers that are late bloomers, and you seem to be like one of our late bloomers, which is awesome to see. What do you put that down to?
Tough question. I don't know, I just kept going. I just haven't given up, I guess. Maybe I'm a slow learner. I don't know, I just kept going, and then I've slowly learned how to do things right for me. Yeah. And then, yeah, I guess it all just comes together a bit later for me.
Yeah. Now, I know John's got a question about fashion, haven't you, John?
Well, it wasn't fashion. No, Jimmy and I just saw you come out in that deck coat. We were the silver,
jacket.
We were like, is that sports science for what, or was that fashion?
Not fashion, definitely not fashion. No, it is sports science, so the reflective inside keeps me warmer. I struggle a lot with getting cold quite easy, so for me, keeping warm is a massive thing. And I find that jacket really helps, even if it's not very good to look at.
Well, it seemed to work, I tell you what. It's brilliant to have watched you race this week. You've done brilliantly. 2 British titles, consideration time, all that sort of jazz. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Alice Thomas.
Thank you.
And another double. We've had a few doubles today, haven't we? And there's another one for Alice Thomas. The 100 and 200 title is nailed now. Might be more difficult on the, or maybe not, let's see. On the 200 freestyle final, the senior one, we are looking forward to with great and eager anticipation. That'll be up in the third of this. It'll be the last event of the British Swimming Championships 2019. Before that, we have some junior things to settle. Hopefully we can find a junior under 149.54, which is what they need to make the World and Europeans.
I'm equally excited for the junior transition and open final because Jacob Whittle has been talking about a lot this week, obviously being the fastest 14-year-old ever in history, over 100 metres. We saw him for the first time do the 200 metres, doing a big personal best, posting that 1:53.0. So be interesting to see what he's got. I mean, at only 14 years of age, he's got such a bright career ahead of him, and someone who spoke about. We've talked a lot about these guys. Most of these junior guys will be racing at Europeans and Worlds this summer for the junior championships because most of them have already qualified for the team.
5 did PBs this morning. Working up, Charlie Poole, Samuel Osborne of Birmingham, Ed Mildred did a PB, Jacob Whittle did a PB, Joshua Williams, all with lifetime best times this morning. But we were talking about him a lot with Tim Jones earlier today. Let's see what Davencio's Jacob Whittle can do. He did improve on his 100 time from heat to final. Got down towards that 50. 1:53.03 this morning. Big PB for him. Charlie Paul of Leicester in 1. Ian Evans of Millfield School 2. Archie Goodburn of Warrender, his last swim of the week, and he'll be so thankful of that. Sam Osborne of City of Birmingham in 4. Ed Mildred of Northampton in 5. 6, Jacob Whittle of Daventure, the 14-year-old potential superstar. 7, William Bell of City of Leicester. And Joshua Williams of Wickham District is in lane number 8. Leader at the 50 is Ian Evans of Millfield. Archie Goodburn second, Charlie Paul, William Bell. Jacob Whittle just holding back a little bit, but he did come through strongly this morning. And look at Ed Mildred, really high on the water, amazingly high in the freestyle.
Yeah, all these boys are working really hard. You can't hold anything back over this 200 metres freestyle. You've got to go for it and hang on for dear life. You can't save anything because they're going to be working their legs, working their turns. Really nice underwater there. But Edward Mildred just come through so much on that last 50. He's about half a bent body length in front of everyone else. Jacob hanging on there just to the left of him, but I don't think it's going to be enough, surely, to catch Edward here.
Wouldn't have thought so, would you? Ed Mildred with a 1:52.64. New personal best this morning. Sam Osborne to his right. Jacob Whittle to his left, as we mentioned. Last 50, but here comes Jacob. Look at him making up to second, maybe. Not quite, but only just behind Sam Osborne. Ed Mildred, though, looking very strong, and I like his stroke, and I like his position in the water, too. But Jacob Whittle's working his way through. Him and Sam Osborne having a battle for second place. Nobody, I don't think, is going to catch Ed Mildred now. Ed Mildred is looking so strong over the closing stages, as indeed he has all the way through this race from Northampton. It's his race, and he will win it. And second place maybe to Jacob Whittle.
Wow.
Not quite, back in 5th. That was a blanket finish for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. But our winner gets a 1:51.30. So he's getting forward and moving forward to a very impressive time. 2 PBs in a day, and that is a massive one, isn't it? 1.3 has gone better than this morning. Jacob Whittle did a 1:52.36, so in the right direction again, and by about 3/4 of a second as well. Second place to William Bell, 1:52.12, just slightly outside his PB. Sam Osborne with a 1:52.24, likewise for him, but some sizable chunks taken off personal best there.
Well, we did look, because obviously Jacob Whittle got the British record for a 14-year-old, got that age group record. So I looked what the 200 was, and it is Matthew Richards, the 14-year-old record, is a 1:51.29. And now Matthew Richards goes in the open final. So Jacob Whittle, take note, as this could be you, as looks like it's happening, because Matthew broke it a couple of years ago, that 14-year-old record, and is now making that open final and could possibly get a relay spot on that Worlds team. So it's amazing the progression of these boys, and it just shows there that kind of taking huge chunks off their personal best. A fantastic week for Jacob.
And we could salivate about the prospects for the 4x2. Seen how strong we are at the World's, second at the Olympics.
In Paris, I'm already excited.
Yeah.
With the standard of these junior boys, it is going to be one hell of a relay in Paris Olympics.
So the transition 200 freestyle final, Regan Lloyd of Team Ipswich, with Dave Champion looking after him. Jacob Goodman, Ewan Dales, swimmer at Millfield. Thomas Kingham, Joel Fink, who looks after James Guy, who's up next, of course, in the open final in 3. Daniel Jervis, Alan Baker's swimmer in 4 from Swansea University. University of Stirling's Craig McLean in 5. Tim Shuttleworth of Loughborough in 6. Luke Turley of Bath in 7. And Jarvis Parkinson, Mel Marshall's swimmer in lane number 8. Now, who's got the quickest time on paper? There's a 1:48 from Craig McLean, 1:48 from Tim Shuttleworth, and 1:48 from Jarvis Parkinson. All of them in that 1:48 ballpark for the transitional 200 freestyle final. The penultimate event of the week. Personal best from Regan Lloyd this morning. The only one in this field who did set a new PB in the heats. And again, it seems at the angle of our cameras, but 1 and 2 all seem to get underway quite well, don't they? In 5, up there is Craig McLean of University of Stirling. And again, if you're looking for a good body position and a nice high stroke, that's what you got from him, with 2nd place to Jarvis Parkinson. 3rd is Tim Shuttleworth, and 4, Thomas Kingham at the 50 split.
Oh, wow, I'm very, very impressed by Craig here. And Jarvis down in lane 8 as well. They've really taken it out strong. They've gone, you know what, I'm just going to go for it tonight. Hang on. And like you said, Craig's got a lovely high position in the water, got a great stroke. He'll probably have been slightly disappointed not to make the open final, but as we've been saying, it was so, so tough and so, so close. So he's going to want to put in a big swim here. And I mean, he's just, surely no one's going to catch him.
Well, Dan Jervis will try, Jarvis will try, and Jacob Goodman will try. But you're right, at the moment, it's hard to see how anybody is going to overhaul our leader, who looks massively strong at the front, the University of Stirling swimmer. He's got about a body length and a half over 3 of the swimmers coming into the wall right now. And they, in order, are Jarvis Parkinson, Jacob Goodman, and Daniel Jervis. But Craig McLean is looking brilliant, looking absolutely spot on, and will maybe be a little bit disappointed he wasn't able to do that. But Jarvis Parkinson's trying to come back at him in lane number 8 at the top of the picture. I think he may have left it too late, but he is giving it a go. But no, it's not going to be his day to win it. 2nd place probably, 2nd place possibly, but the winner will come from lane number 5, 1:48.98. And he's wondering now, why didn't I do that this morning? Because that would have got me into the final quite comfortably.
Yeah, he just didn't obviously have it in the bag for this morning through the heats, but a great swim tonight. I mean, his training partner is Duncan Scott. So what a training partner. Both of them have got lovely techniques, and what a week Duncan's had. So I know Duncan, after his 100, was so happy for Craig, because it was the first time that Craig had ever been under the 50 point. So I think Craig's going to, it's a little bit bittersweet for him, because he has had a really, really good week, but just missing out on those World qualification times that. But a year out from the Olympic Games, it is in a fantastic place to be. He's had experience here. He's found some good times. He can now go away, work really, really hard for next year's Olympic trials.
Craig McLean with the University of Stirling, 1:48.98. Go see Jarvis Parkinson back in some kind of form in the 200 free at a 1:50.14. Jacob Goodman, 1:50.24. And he threatened to maybe get 2nd or 3rd, did Dan Jervis, for a while, but back in 4th in the end with a 1:50.39.
I know that I've mentioned Matthew Richards, who goes in the open final quite a bit, because he had the 14-year-old age group record. Well, this morning, Bob, I can tell you he broke the 16 age group record that he did in the heats this morning that we didn't pick up on. So amazing for Matthew, and amazing that he made this open final. He's wanting to progress on that even more, but to break that 150 mark, it's fantastic. But the world's time, focusing on the seniors, is the 1st place time is a 1:45.70, and the consideration time of a 1:46.47. But obviously the men's 4x2 is so strong that we'll be looking at who the top 4 boys are, not just the 1st place winner.
Well, he's got a personal best of 149, has Kyle Chisholm, 150.06, the only over 150 swimmer to get into the final. Everybody else has gone sub 150, and there is the aforementioned Matthew Richards. Got a bit of a fan club behind us. That was quite a cheer, wasn't it, for the Royal Wolverhampton School man who's coached by Mark Spackman. Cameron Curl of Bath. This is such a stacked field. I know we said it this morning, but you look at it, when you pare it down to 8, how stacked does this look? Max Litchfield, after the disappointment of the 200 IM last night, will want to put that right, and to a certain extent did that this morning with the season's best in the 200 free. There's Max in lane 2. Now, James Guy from Bath, Joel Fink's swimmer, and of course the British record holder as well, 1:45.14. I just got a feeling it might go tonight. It just might go, and it may not be to him. We'll see. He's capable of doing it, not putting him down at all, but you know what? We'll see a man in the moment who I think is potentially capable of doing it. There's Tom Dean of Bath, was at Maidenhead. Great work done by them to get him readied and prepared for the centre down in Bath with Dave McNulty. Callum Jarvis next on to Paul Deck. Callum Jarvis, Joel Fink and Dave McNulty look after him. But the man of the week, and I know he was your man of the year last year for 2018. This man doesn't just swim in water, he walks on water.
I love Duncan. I absolutely love watching him race. He's just been unbelievable yet again this week. I bumped into him just before in warm-up, and he just looks so chilled. He looks like, oh, I'm just here for training. He's so relaxed, so calm. What a phenomenal week he has. He's going to want to finish it off. And I think this is going to be my best event of the whole week, Bob.
His PB is only 2 100ths outside James Guy's British record. So both of them have, in terms of their best times, they're almost identical. So look at that for a list. We won't mention them all during the course of the race, so make sure you take a snapshot of that. Matthew Richards, we know he's going to do something special because he's looking great, and maybe another age group record as well for him. Max Litchfield in 2 from Loughborough, Bath in 3. In 4, Duncan Scott, University of Stirling. Callum Jarvis of Bath. James Guy of Bath. Cameron Curl of Bath. Stockport Metro's Kyle Chisholm in the outside lane. Take a deep breath, Bob. This could be quite special.
I feel sick.
Can you save it for a couple of minutes?
Oh.
We're just about 2 minutes away from the conclusion of the 2019 British Swimming Championships, but we may have saved the best till last. The whole of this country, the whole of Europe, and the whole of the world probably looking in from a swimming point of view as to what is going to happen here. Will it be Duncan Scott? Will it be James Guy? Or will we have another big surprise? And how do they pace it, Becky? How do they pace it? Because at the moment, obviously, Duncan is in 4, James is in 3, so they can't directly see each other.
Yeah, James in 6 there. I just really don't want him to go out too fast, as he did that on the 100 metres butterfly. So I don't want him to go too fast. I want him to go out really, really smooth. But they're going to be aware of each other. And Duncan's finish is so strong, especially with that last 5 metres windmill stroke. But both Duncan and James are taking it out. They know that this is going to be a head-to-head battle.
Let's see what the split is. That'll indicate exactly where we are at the 100 stage. They are side by side. They are absolutely together. Duncan Scott leads in a 51.29. Second place, James Guy, 51.36. And third place is Cameron Curl. He doesn't want to give this up, Duncan Scott. And look at him go. Just look at him go. This is majestic. Absolutely majestic from the man who turns 22 next month. Now, does James Guy have a reaction? Can he respond? He's still behind. Duncan Scott turns in a 1:18.17. Is that British record on the line? Of course it is. Duncan Scott in lane 4. James Guy in lane 6. Who's it going to be? It looks like Duncan Scott every day of the week right now. But James Guy is not finished. He's coming with a flying finish in lane number 6. Can Duncan Scott respond? Duncan Scott, James Guy. Duncan Scott is aware of the danger and accelerates away with a 1:45.63. That is the equal fastest time in the world this year. And it's amazing what this man can do. Back-to-back races, back-to-back finals. Last night he won. This morning he was quick, even quicker still. And Matthew Richards has done a 1:49.36, so another age group record for the Royal Wolverhampton swimmer. Duncan Scott, James Guy, Tom Dean with a 1:46.86. He's taken half a second of his personal best as well. Look at the top four there. 1:45, 1:46, 1:46, 1:47.18. The top four there. Surely the 4x2 at the World. Don't hand it to them yet, but they're pretty close to it.
Yeah, them four will more than likely be going, but a great swimmer, just such a head-to-head race there between Duncan and James, and it was so hard to call, but it's just incredible. James as well getting that consideration time, both of them getting that consideration time, so we'll both have that individual as well as obviously the relay. And just to mention and reiterate what you said, with Matthew Richards getting another 16-year age record as well, a phenomenal swim for him.
All under 150. And Carl Chisholm does get close to that personal best. He's under the 150 again for him. Max with a 1:48.2. So season's best and edging towards his personal best. Well, we're going to hear from the man himself another time for Duncan Scott to talk to our studio. John and James are ready for the words, and hopefully he's got a few as well. And we're going to hear from James Guy too. Both of them in situ. Just brilliant stuff. John and James and Duncan.
Well, there you have it. What a way to finish the week. We've got with us now Duncan Scott and James Guy. A huge swim from both you boys. Congratulations. First of all, Duncan, another British title. It's been a big week for you.
Yeah, it's a solid way to sort of cap off what's been a really good week for me. Moving on some events that, you know, I personally felt that I could have moved on, and I did, so I was happy with that, but maybe a little bit disappointed with the time. You know, in Jimmy, I think you might be a bit disappointed with that, but I know that, you know, come Worlds, you know, Jim will be back to his best and on top of the world, but, you know, it's a solid, you know, it's hard to race right at the end of the week, but it's a solid time.
Yeah, James, I know you're a racer, you love it, you love being in the mix, you're right in the mix there. How strong is the 4x, how strong is the 200 freestyle in Britain right now?
Oh, it's great, man. I think the way British swimming is right now, and that 4x200 freestyle relay is fantastic, and also for Olympics next year, there's going to be a lot of guys going for them 4 places, so yeah, we're in a great spot right now.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and it's awesome to see. Moving forward to the World Championships, under the consideration time, James, first place considered. Looks like you're probably going to be going, James, as well. How do you guys both move it forward on now? Like, how are we going to step it up one more gear?
You know, I think for Duncan this week, he had an amazing week, and I think everyone should give him a round of applause because he's done fantastic this week.
Yeah.
We're good friends, aren't we?
Right, serious rivals in the pool. They get out, they're like best of mates. It's great to see.
And the thing is, as well, is like, as Duncan said, the 200 freestyle is our main event, and it's the end of the week, so we're a bit tired. It's been a long week. It's a lot of racing more for him anyway, so and hopefully by World Championships we'll be faster again and do what we need to do there.
And a lot of swimmers coming in here have been talking about that. You know, a lot of people have been a little disappointed with their performances this week, but it is sort of all about those major events over the summer, isn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, well, I think regardless, you know, you need to come here and perform. You know, it's the World Championship trials. You know, it's not the same environment, you might say, as an international scene, but that doesn't mean you can't come here and perform. You know, you need to be on top of your game. You need to try and push for those places, and you know, I think it's been tough, and you know, the British team's getting harder and harder to qualify for. Obviously, that's great. You know, we're getting more depth, but you know, it's harder and harder to get on the team. But yeah, you know, as Jimmy was saying in that 200 free, you know, once we're out the pool, you know, we're all great friends, but you know, in there, it's a great competitive battle, and you know, it's a world-class field again, and that was another really good race.
So, guys, the week is over. You can chillax a little bit now. Would you guys take a little bit of time off, like maybe a week or 2 weeks, or straight back into the pool?
For myself, I've got a week off now. I'm pretty sure the Bath guys do as well. So I'm seeing Mr. PT on Tuesday for, I think, 1 or 2 drinks, which will be quite nice. So that'll be quite nice and kind of get the hair down. But
you've deserved it.
Yeah, I think most importantly is that when you do come to these meets and the major meets this time, you've got to have time off and kind of recuperate, put your hair down a little bit and just enjoy yourself, because not very often we get to go out and do things. So that's the time to do it.
Well, brilliant. Look, it's been awesome watching you both race this week. Good luck with the season coming up. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. James Guy and Duncan Scott.
Well, it was great to hear from those boys. I'm still shaking. I need to calm down after that men's 200 freestyle. What a race that was. And it was brilliant to hear from those boys, and rightly so that they're taking a week off. They're going to relax, calm down. Mentally, you need to switch off as well, not just physically. They've got a big season ahead with that World Championships in July, so it'll be a great opportunity for those boys to let their hair down a little bit. And after a busy week, and with how much racing they've had on, and Duncan just absolutely, again, the swimmer of the meet for me has just been untouchable.
Thank you, Rebecca Adlington, for filling in the breach. Well, I had to nip off to the boys' room. I am returned, and here we go with the presentation for the 200 meters backstroke. And that looks like a Robbie Rennick lookalike.
Well, it's Robbie Rennick.
Yeah, that would be why then. And he's going to present the awards to Jade Elliott. Firstly, third place.
Well, it's joint.
And,
joint
of course, Brodie Williams. Both of them are getting the same time, 1:59.64 for that bronze medal. And Jay, I imagine that's probably, certainly senior-wise, his first backstroke medal, to be honest, but 1:59.64, it goes sub 2, big smile on his face.
They look like they could be brothers.
Yeah, they do actually, they look very similar. 4 years between them, 20 and 24. Craig McNally with a 1:58.89. University of Stirling will be thrilled with that, as he is. Look, big smile all over his face, but he was some 3 seconds behind the man who really has found his mojo and found his form this week, and it's so good to see him back in peak form again after a couple of slightly barren years when we weren't sure whether that transition from juniors to seniors was going to happen. Well, I think there's evidence it has. The 100 title and the 200 title this week for Luke, 1:55.89, and pretty much everything he wanted from that swim. 4 of them up there, of course, 2 bronze medalists, and a terrific event that turned out to be, and what a good time for Luke Greenbank. We'll be looking forward to the relay and the 100 and the 200 when he gets to South Korea later in the year for the World Championships in July.
I'm really pleased for Luke. I'm glad that he's done a personal best time, but getting that consideration time, because obviously we've been having the relay, you kind of think, well, I'll be doing those events anyway, but it is so much more satisfying to know that you've got that time, that it's kind of, it just means a little bit more to him, and it will really spur him on now in training. Obviously, there's not too long to go. It's a kind of a shorter season for these guys with racing at the end of July at the World Championships, but I just think he's now got his mojo back, he's got his confidence back, and I can't wait to see what he does in the summer.
So our penultimate event, and there's a very familiar face as well, Gemma Lowe.
Yeah, she's here supporting her fiancé, Callum Jarvis, who should be very, very pleased as he came 4th in the 200, so fantastic for him.
And presentations for the 100 butterfly. Laura Stevens of Plymouth Leander with a 58.82. It's a very tight race, actually. 3 of them under 59. In fact, all the field were under the minute barrier, minute mark, call it what you will. 59.87 for Harriet Jones, the slowest, but that wasn't particularly slow in British national terms either. Loughborough University's Charlotte Atkinson. We saw her earlier in the 50, and she's got a silver in the 100, and a 58.30, and in the end there was actually only a 1/10 of a second between 1 and 2. It was very, very tight indeed, as indeed it was on the backstroke, wasn't it, last night? That was a 1/10 of a second as well between first place and second place, but she was fastest in the heat, and she was fastest when it mattered in the evening. Alice Thomas of Swansea University with a 58.20 is the British champion for 2019. And there is one more awards ceremony to come. And what a thrilling race. All the things we anticipated it might be, it turned out to be.
And more.
And more. And Duncan Scott, what a week he has had. Just got that race nailed. Perfection personified from the off to the end.
He races very smart, doesn't he? Very, very smart.
So maybe we should talk about, before we talk about the top three, Matthew Richards. We're going to go, Wolverhampton's Matthew Richards with that age group record, 1:49.36, twice in a day.
Yeah, fantastic for him. 16 years of age. What an experience, because that was pretty much like racing a final at Worlds. It was that good. So amazing experience for him. And for me, what's very, very exciting is that 4x2 relay as well, because all top four guys really pushed each other on then. And a great personal swim from Thomas Dean as well. And Callum Jarvis has got so much experience, so much background, that he's a great one to have in that team, that you know you've got a solid swim always with Callum Jarvis.
Well, I'll just go through those times for you again. 1:46.63 for Duncan Scott, 1:46.34 for James Guy, and 1:46.86 for Tom Dean, 1:47.18 for Callum Jarvis, and Cameron Curl with a 1:48.18, and Max Litchfield with a 1:48.22. So if they're looking for alternates, and Max will be there anyway, he's sixth fastest.
Yeah, it's always good having kind of backups, especially if they know that they can comfortably make it through to the final. Depends on how the week schedule is as well and how it fits in with everyone's individual program, but it might be that Duncan or James need to have a rest by that stage, so they put one of the guys that are in fifth or sixth in the morning heats.
Yeah, they won't lose a great deal, will they? Tom Dean in third place, new personal best for him. James Guy's British record still intact. Got close. Oh, very nice. Very touching that, James.
Always a
both
joker.
cheeks, mate. Not one cheek, both cheeks.
No, in Britain it's one. Up north it's definitely
Up
one.
north.
Up north it's
Up
definitely
north,
one. You don't
it's
do
one.
two up north.
Okay. Is that a southern thing then? Is that a southern thing?
Must be. I'm northern, I only ever do one.
Duncan Scott, anyway, there'll be no kissing on the cheek here, I'm sure, for the University of Stirling swimmer. 1:45.63. He won that by 3/4 of a second in the end. James Guy will relinquish his British title, not his British record. That stays in place. Duncan Scott, though, got mighty close to it, and that is the equal fastest time in the world. It's a young Japanese, Masahiro Matsumoto, done a 1:45.63. So they'll be joined at the top of the FINA rankings for 2019. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the action for the 2019 British Swimming Championships. Once again, before we go back to the studio, thank you for all the reaction we've had from you on social media. And me, Bob Ballard, signing off to the studio with Becky, who's down there, with James and John.
Well, there you have it. A big thank you going out to our technical officials as well. We couldn't have done this event without you. You may now leave pool deck. Well, Becky, James, that concludes the British Swimming Championships 2019.
Can I just say I'm not sitting on this chair just because this chair's wet, so I'm just going to perch.
I knew that was going to happen when you came down. I thought it was brilliant.
Sorry, but yes, what a race to finish on that was. Duncan Scott, for me, he was my swimmer of the year last year, and he's been my swimmer of the meet this week. Just absolutely incredible. And just backed up multiple events as well, and just been at the top of his game. I did question how he would recover after that 200 medley last night, but just nothing seems to stop him or faze him. And he's such a relaxed, chilled guy, isn't he? Yeah. Just so pleased with him.
And it's almost like he doesn't understand how quick he's going. He sits here and he's kind of like just chilled and relaxed, and it's like, dude,
I don't think he's relaxed. I think he's just tired.
Maybe that's what it is.
Probably
No, I could see James Guy. James Guy was literally sat on the edge of his seat like this, like dying to kind of stand up, like cramping up in his legs. But yeah, I mean, Duncan Scott, what a week he's had. Superb. 100 freestyle, 200 IM, and that 200 free, getting well inside the qualification times. I mean, this guy's on fire. But a great all-round swimmer. That's what I was most impressed with. Like, I thought it was just like a kind of a freestyler. Backstroke superb, butterfly amazing. He was great in the 100 meters butterfly as well, wasn't he? I think he won silver in the 100 fly. And that breaststroke was
There's been so many
just
medals.
amazing.
He's just been performing brilliantly at top of his game all week. Who
Sorry.
else? So go for it, Bex.
There's someone else I want to mention because it was probably one of my favourite races of the week was Dan Jervis's 1500 metres freestyle.
You're stealing his thunder here. You're stealing his thunder.
I have to mention him because he was so close to that British record, and I think it's going to go fairly soon. But it was amazing because the whole of poolside stood up. They were cheering for him. He was out on his own. It was a really tough mental race for him, and the fact that he got that first place qualification time as well, I was just so pleased for him. And what a sweetheart.
It was just brilliant. That was my moment of the week, certainly my race. And as you said, the whole stadium sort of up on their feet.
Well, this is it.
Athletes.
I know. I think with those distance races, like some people don't give it enough credit because that's what makes them so exciting. You can see if people are on pace to hit the time that they want to hit. You know, in a 200, it's a little bit more difficult. Certainly over 50, it's really difficult to see if they're on pace to get a time or get a personal best. Over a 1500 or an 800, you can see their pacing, you can see what times they need to hit, and that gets the crowd up, that gets the crowd lifted. And with Daniel Jervis, we knew he was on for something special from about halfway, and that's what made the atmosphere so electric.
We have to mention Adam Peaty as well. I think
Of
because he
course,
swam
start of
so
the
long,
week.
he
When did
finished
Adam-
on day
oh, yeah.
2, that we've totally forgot about that. But just because it feels so long ago for us, obviously being on day 6, but Adam, another incredible meet for him. I mean, he's just unstoppable, isn't he, Adam? And that's just what blows me away, that he's just been unbeatable on that 100 metres breaststroke for so long now.
Yeah.
And like you say, you said Adam loves the crowd, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And the fact that he came on here, he's still putting his best performance, and I think he's going to love this summer.
Sticking on breaststroke, though, that 200, Ross Murdoch,
That was my
James
pick of the
Wilby.
week. I
Don't
wrote it
steal my
down.
races, Jimmy.
That was my pick of the week.
Oh, incredible. To have two guys go under that time, you know, to have them both in here and to be friends and to do it side by side.
Yeah.
It was to the touch. Like, my heart was in my mouth that entire race.
I know. I mean, I love a good... I mean, even though Daniel Jervis was so cool, like so far out in front, I love a good race when there's two people right next to each other, battling it out, and those two are just head-to-head the whole way. Wilby, Murdoch, you know, I think maybe another 5 meters, I think Murdoch might have just scraped it because he was coming back against Wilby, wasn't he? Super, both guys under 2:08, the first time that's ever happened at a competition on British soil. Did we say in the world as well?
It was in the world. Well, that was the info I had. I do need to clarify that.
It was
but
insane
that,
anyway,
word
whatever
on the
it was,
street.
insane.
Let's go with that. Word on the street is that was in the world. Speaking of fastest, that junior lad...
Jacob Whittle.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we've got to talk
Fastest
about Jacob,
four. Sorry, I just had a brain freeze.
It's been a long week.
It has.
And to be honest, that's what I was going to say. The most exciting thing about this week is the amount of juniors coming through. I mean, we spoke about Tamarin, Archie Goodburn, Jacob Whittle. There's been names after names after names, age group records going. There's been an abundance of people make those European and World Junior times as well. So I think it's fantastic because obviously we're all busy here, sat going Tokyo, Tokyo, but actually it's really exciting for Paris. I mean, just that men's 200 freestyle junior final there, I was like, well, there's the 4x2 for Paris. Job done.
Right there.
It's been a fantastic week for the juniors as well.
It really has. I've loved it as well. I've had such a great time having you in the studio as well with me. It's been absolutely brilliant. Of course, we've got loads more events for British swimming coming up. We have the World Para Swimming Week happening next week. This week? Next week. Starts on Thursday. Few days' time. We also have Diving World Series next month as well in May. It's the final leg of the series. We have the World Para Swimming Championships in September and in London. And of course, the Len European Short Course Championships are going to be back here in Glasgow in December. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me. And of course, thank you to everyone at home who's been watching. It's been absolutely brilliant. My name's John Mason. Thanks for joining us at Deep End Live. And we'll see you next time.